Anyway, you'll be also given copy and then material or the body and then references. This is very important in coming up with a real instructional material. It has to be complete, no? Preliminary pages and then the body. I'll focus on the body, on the material, and then references and even appendices if needed. So this is the whole book. This is the whole material. You will be acknowledged, you will be given credit with your ACOP, rather NBC 461 evaluation or ranking purposes if you have a complete material. But if you're only going to focus on the body, well, it's not. Okay. But meantime, what we'll be focusing right now is to have the body. That's the most important thing because that is where we can have the delivery of instruction. Next slide. Okay, so let's have the organization, no, of the body. That's why I said I focus on the body. Now, sample, this is a sample, section 1, unit or chapter, title, course outcomes, okay? And then example, chapter 1, the human communication process and the outcomes, one course outcome lifted from the course syllabus, general for the unit, general objectives, if we may call it. Then another course outcome to be lifted from the course syllabus. Okay, so if we can do just focus on one, okay lang. But if needed, then we'll have two. That not so much, not so much, because it was already conditioned when we make the OBE syllabus that we have to focus our outcome so we can really realize it within the semester. Okay. We might be very, very, how do I call that? Very idealistic that we would want to include so many things that our students might have indigestion later on. So again, I would like to say that this is maybe because of the reason that we did not be very serious with our mapping that's really needed, curriculum mapping, which will happen also sometime uh, when the semester starts. We will go to the curriculum mapping so that we can modify along the way the things that we have been doing, that we have done. Okay, section 2, organization of the topic or the lesson. So title of the lesson and then the intended learning outcomes, which is also taken or based from the course outcome. So the targets should specifically complement with the course outcome. We have to be very careful with course alignment, no? Okay, or curricular alignment rather. And then we have the introduction. So preliminary questions, diagnosis, okay, then before the slide for a moment. Okay, we have here this activity assesses the prior knowledge of the student. So every lesson has one corresponding question in this question, rather in this section. So marabag motivation, preliminary, meaning this is maybe can be called preparation part. Okay, and then yeah, here we have to go now to the instructional, the real instructional, I mean the procedure. Og lesson planning pa ni, this is the procedure. Okay, we have the preparation, the presentation, the practice, performance, and then to complete the cycle, then that is then we have to also have our assignment or maybe work activities to be done uh, outside of the synchronous. Maybe you can have the asynchronous activity in 2.4.5. Okay, and there must be a unit test in separate sheets which we can also migrate. We can also migrate it to our Odilo. That's another a separate unit test. This is our evaluation part or assessment part. Okay, so in the preparation, we call it simply as motivation or review. And then, of course, the presentation is the discussion or the lesson proper. And then the practice is the formative activity. We can have the short quizzes or short exercises, which is not graded supposedly. Okay, if we are going to adopt the style of dep ed, that is the formative activity or the formative test. It's actually formative test, short quizzes. It's just a practice so that we would know that your students understood what you have presented. Okay, and then of course, you have the performance here, the evaluation, and assessment. That is where we can have a separate test, a separate unit test that could be now the performance, or we call it summative test. There are two general types of tests: the formative test and the uh, um summative test. No? So we can have the performance evaluated by giving a unit test, a long quiz, or a summative test. Okay, next slide. So I have here a sample. Okay, as extracted from my textbook, Purposive Communication. As I've said, this was not yet designed for a purpose of online, but we are making use of some videos and some other technological tools here. So we have to have a preface in our material. Okay, and after the preface, of course, we can have dedication. This is the preliminary page, huh? Or from the preface to the dedication will form part of the preliminary pages. And then, of course, the table of contents. And we'll go now to the body. So this is my style that we will have to have a chapter learning outcomes. So there are lots of learning outcomes here, but in the specific lesson, we could have one or two. Now I'm pointing out the red one. Explain the nature, elements, functions, and characteristics of verbal and nonverbal communication process in various functional and multicultural setting. This is one unit because in my case, chapter one is composed of units. And there are 5 units or 5 lessons. Now, my one of the 5 lessons is that to explain the nature, elements, functions, and characteristics of verbal and nonverbal communication processes in various functional and multicultural settings. Next slide. Here. From that, I am making some intended learning outcomes. And then I can even reduce that to 2 or 3. That is because here I have lots. Then to my realization and to our realization, maybe you have the same thing. No? Kay ato maning used to be. The used to be kind of presentation that we usually did before or that we had been doing before, and with our realization to the OBE thing. Okay, now that's why I said, if I may also insert something, no, um, the many times you listen to the same speech, the many different perspectives you could ever have embraced. Now, like watching a movie, you would say, this is my 10th time, my nth time watching the same movie. But it seems that every day or every time I watch this particular movie, I learn new things every day. So here, when I made the material, I thought this is already okay. That's why I have lots of intended learning outcomes. But have been I did read outcomes based book or textbook by William Spady, the father of OBE. Now we have the presentations of our different speakers before. We also have the presentation of Dr. Haka, and every time we have the presentation in syllabus unification, we would always realize that it has to be focused. So now I can even remove some of those ILOs and just have a focus. I just made use of the cognitive aspect, the the affective and even the psychomotor, but we can have, it's a matter of playing of words, playing with words, that we can even reduce it where all the domains can be incorporated. So it's a matter of our style. Okay, so next, I'm focusing on lesson 5 on a visual communication and a multimedia. And then, of course, we have to have an introduction. We will not go direct to the lesson or to the activity. We have to condition the reading, I would say, experience of our students. Then after the introduction, and by the way, see to it that if you are going to to avoid committing plagiarism, we have to be very careful with our citation. No, now this is where we can even modify later on if these materials are found in Odilo library. Okay, but maybe I do not know, later on in the question and answer, maybe we can ask Odilo if like Verderber and Selno, we have that in the library, and I do not know if this can be placed in Odilo, no, but we there is something to be there's a legal consideration that we have to do. But this is a question later on. Personally, asking Sir Cloyd if it's possible, no? If it may not be Verderber, and Selno, it may be other books, instructional, references that the faculty is having, and if it could be adopted by Odilo, or if there is a substitute for this in Odilo. Okay, so yeah, go on to the next slide. Okay, so here I have a preliminary question or diagnosis. This is my motivation. Like, what do you think are the benefits of using visual image in communicating a message? Here, at this point in time, my random thought dictates me that I could even have this in my Zoom, no? I would like to ask them so that there is interaction and I could listen to my students, since this is communication subject or course. So I like watching movies and then reading novels, and they're going to explain it. So they're going to give their thoughts. They're also going to give their random thoughts. So we can have it in a question and answer part. And then that's part of my lecture using the Zoom perhaps, no? Or using whatever is the maybe Google Meet, no? Maybe Google Meet, if I'm correct with my term, that we can talk about this all together. We can share. Next slide. Instructional process. This is now the preparation part. Now, in my book, I place there below the picture, I place the source. Okay, because this was the activity that we did during our training in the first batch of trainers training that happened in Batangas University, where all the English teachers handling speech communication and other English subjects or disciplines were there, were trained. And then in my book, I placed the source because you have to be very careful with the source. I just failed to put that here in the slide. It has to be placed. And I'm sorry to tell you that, no? So this is my preparation, my lesson. I mean, students can even look at this via the internet, no? Look at the picture very closely. You have 5 minutes to do this. What can you say about the man in the picture? So it can again be done by having them do some reflections, and even uh, can participate in the oral activity. Or maybe I will be thinking something like because this is a preparation thing, maybe I will also give them this somewhere in a particular platform where they can have asynchronous activity, and then by the time I'll have the face, rather the virtual interaction with them, then they can have this as a part of their oral presentations. Next slide. So this is now my presentation. Now, of course, in the presentation, we have to have our input. No, just do not also give them so heavy uh, material to be read, because students do not like to be given so many things to be read right then and there. Maybe you can have them in a separate reading assignment, but just to give them the gist or the essence of the lesson, then just give them few paragraphs to read. Okay, and again, uh, this can be discussed virtually, interactively. uh, this can also be given as an assignment so they can read it ahead, and they can have another activity for this in relation to this. Next, continue. So let's go to the practice. It seems that I suppose I have already given in the preparation and presentation, I already have given them the input. Now, I would like to have the practice. Okay, so examine the pic because this is multimodality thing, and this is visual literacy. The lesson is multimodality and visual literacy. So here they are going to examine the picture that follows. Refer to the information you could get you could get in the presentation portion to evaluate this image, discuss this enthusiastically with others in the classroom. So we can have a small group here. We can create online a small group with the help of Udilo. We can have a small group online activity where they can interact, react among themselves. So it could be collaborative learning via internet, okay, or via online platform. They are going to have to evaluate the picture because this is a visual literacy. How they would comprehend, there might have different perspectives coming from different groups. If we're going to have 5 subgroups, then there will be 5 perspectives that they can create. Now remember, create is one of the highest order thinking skills. Let them create on something. They can even make some dialogue. They can even make some picture analysis here. Next. So they can, of course, with a picture analysis, the communication, which is the hidden purpose is there, is activated, no? Activation. Now let's go to the performance. From that, in a group of 5 or 6 members, here, you conceptualize a cause-oriented or socio-civic oriented activity like dance for typhoon, earthquake victims, concert for the cancer victims, run for a cause, or riverside cleanup drive, etc. So now they're going to create and perhaps innovate. Then make or design invitations for people because it's expected that in the presentation they were also given some tips on what is visual literacy. Katong mga designs, mga colors, mga combinations, mga shapes, tuan na dito sa lesson and even to reading assignment. And then audience to join this cause-oriented or socio-civic oriented event. So they're going to make a design. Then the group may use at least 3 among the following modes for the invitations. They can use email. Uh, they can email it to me or email it to a friend or to even to the group or even to the class. Or they can use Facebook, they can use Twitter or any social media forms, print and or electronic. So I'm putting it and or so that the multi-modality concept is already introduced or is already practiced rather, no? Or performed. They're not introduced because it is presented before. Then be sure to indicate all necessary detail or information the audience needs to know. Okay. Then that's why they have to really have a collaboration here. Submit to class or email your invitations in different formats and refer to the rubric to evaluate your group output. So the rubric can be placed in the online. Okay. Next. Okay, so the rubric is here. Next. So students will be guided what to do, the visual and all these things. And then I'll have the assignment. Okay. In the same group assignments, come up with a video presentation about the previously conceptualized cause-oriented and or civic-oriented activity para ma-heighten, ma-crystallize ang understanding. Consider the following workshop mechanics. So another grouping, and that is to be done asynchronously but in a group. They are not a certain group may do it in a separate time and local compared to other groups. They cannot do it simultaneously. So identify a specific marginalized group in your multimodal aspect, make a slogan for easy recall, and then create an image persuasive to the viewers and audience. So the literacy here, the visual literacy is already part of it. Then upload your video on Facebook and tag your instructor, professor. Keep a file of your video presentation and refer to the same rubric used in rating group output in the performance section. So that's the thing. And then I have my references and see to it that your references will really be there. Now, in this time, if we are going to use references, online references, and see to it that the students really can open, because they will really have to open it to cross-check and validate if the things that you've mentioned in your previous lesson are there in Brantley, in Chisbro, and Silent. Thank you. I got my 30 minutes, Sir Lloyd. Please acknowledge Dr. Christy Ann Haka if Dr. Haka is already here. Not yet?
I'm here, sir.
Okay. So sige, Ma'am Christy Ann, thank you very much. We have now our University Director for Curriculum Planning and Development to give us the OBE syllabus. So CTU's OBE syllabus, contextualizing teaching and learning in the new normal. Let's all welcome Dr. Christy Ann Haka.
Uh, share for a while, sir, ha?
So while Dr. Haka is fixing or trying to navigate for the sharing of the slide, I would like to reiterate what I said a while ago, that this is a repetition and we have to repeat this many times as we wish, as we could, because we would like all to embrace this happily. Because this is our preparation for the incoming series of seminars or webinars where we really have to do OBE syllabus, and that is really standardized OBE syllabus, I hope, with your help, with your consideration and understanding. Okay, so Dr. Christy Ann Haka, take it away.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, teachers. Um, my task today is to walk you through the process on how we can obidize our course syllabus. So as assigned, what I did from the previous presentation I had, I shortened it and I focused only on the template and including the entries of the syllabus. So the presentation, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, sir. So the presentation outline will directly lead us to the rationale why we have to do this. And of course, the most important is actually the syllabus of our OBE, of our city OBE syllabus. Okay, so um, of course, we know that this learning management system aims to have a uniform quality of delivery of instruction in all levels, in all campuses, reflecting our university's vision, mission, and goals. So I don't need to read the vision, mission, and goal because everyone, I think, is already familiar with this. So just to give us an idea that when we make or revise our syllabus, we have to consider our vision, mission, and goal. Okay. This is actually our journey to quality education that starts with a very clear quality and targets, which we refer to as our graduate attributes. So this is the question that we want to answer and whose answers will be reflected in our own course syllabus. What kind of graduates do we want to produce? Okay, so these are the graduate attributes definition that
Excuse me, Ma'am
yes,
Ma'am Haka, you haven't
sir.
shared your slide, ma'am.
Oh, hello, sorry.
Hindi
Wala
mo
lang.
makita.
Hello, sorry,
Share
sir.
screen.
So it's on my screen. Wait, sir, ha? Dili masulod. Wait, sir. Hala, sorry for here. Hala nga nung wala. Sir, ako nang gi-share, sir.
Balik, ma'am. Click share screen. Sir Cloyd, did we allow Dr. Haka to share screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Panelist na siya, Sir Jugams.
Oh,
Click
but
share
wala
screen,
siya
ma'am.
makita. Ipa-check lang.
Wala siguro niya
Thank you.
maklik ang share screen, sir.
Gi-click na nako, sir. Wait, sir,
Okay.
ha?
Sige, i-target ang imong PowerPoint, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ako nang gi-target ang share screen and this also. Naana, sir?
Imo pang
Oh, okay na. You can maximize your PowerPoint
Yes,
and
sir.
continue.
Kana, ma'am, okay na.
Okay.
Yes, that's good. Thank you.
Okay na, sir. Sorry. I thought na kuha na siya. All right. So once again, good morning. So I think I have already started. I'll just go directly to that part where I am about to present some rationale or introduction about outcomes-based education. So this is what I mentioned earlier. So this presentation will all be like about the rationale why we have to do this, and of course our CTU OBE syllabus template. The focus here is actually on the alignment of the program outcomes to course learning outcomes and to the intended learning outcomes. Okay, so this is the reason, this is the rationale why we have to obidize our syllabus in order to have a uniform quality of delivery of instruction in all levels and in all campuses of the university that is reflective of its vision, mission, and goal. So I'll just have to skip this. And then, of course, since we are aiming at quality, the journey to quality education starts with a very clear quality and targets. So this leads to the answer to this question: what kind of graduates do we want to produce? Here. So when we talk about graduate attributes, we understand that graduate attributes are the qualities, skills, and understandings that a particular university agrees its students should develop during their time with the institution. These attributes include but go beyond the disciplinary expertise or technical knowledge that has traditionally formed the core of most university courses. They are qualities that also prepare graduates as agents of social good in an unknown future. Okay, this is according to Bowden, Hart, King, Trigwell, and Watts 2000. Ako next slide, sir. Wait. Okay, here.
Message.
Okay. So last January 16, 2020, there was a 2-day lecture workshop on identifying specific graduate attributes of a CTU graduate based on the core values. I think there were 7 core values, but we were only able to identify 4 because there were only 4 graduate attributes that surfaced during the workshop. So this is a collaborative output from the workshop that we did last time. So these are the 4 graduate attributes, CTU graduate attributes. These are the traits and qualities that we will be producing while our students are still in our class. So number 1 is highly skilled individual, which is actually directed to the core value of excellence. So in most universities, they have this termed as competence. In our case, we have this highly skilled individual because we are a technological university. Second is that we have ethically imbued professional, which leads to the core value of integrity. Okay. And then third is service-oriented worker, or commitment is actually the value identified. And the last one is effective communicator, which actually leads to the value of unity. So in other words, these 4 graduate attributes are supposed to be one of the things or factors we have to consider, qualities we have to consider when we will be making our syllabus. So first, we take note of our university's mission, vision, and goal, and then we go to our graduate attributes. So how can we contribute in the development of these graduate attributes in each of our classes? So that is something we have to consider when we will be making or revising our course syllabus. Okay, so just an overview a little bit about outcomes-based education. Outcomes-based education does not mean curriculum-based with outcomes sprinkled on top. It is a transformational way of doing business and education. This is according to Spady, 1993. OB is an approach to education in which decisions about the curriculum are driven by the learning outcomes that students should display at the end of the course. That's why we have to go back to how can I contribute in the development of these graduate attributes. And these decisions include curriculum content, educational strategies, student selection, and assessment. So there are different definitions of outcomes-based education. The most widely used one is the 4 principles suggested by Spady. An OBE curriculum means starting with a clear picture of what is important for students to be able to do, then organizing the curriculum, instruction, and assessment to make sure this learning ultimately happens. So here are the 4 principles. Clarity of focus. clear picture, clear intent, top priority, perfect match, performance demonstration, bottom line, model it, starting point, day one, no surprises. So which means to say that we really have a clear idea as to what is it that I really want my students to demonstrate at the end of the semester. Okay. And then second is expanded opportunities. So this refers to time teaching, and then you have learning and eligibility, methods of instruction, operational principles, performance standards, curriculum access, and structuring pencil grades. Okay, so which means that in the course learning package that we have learned from Dr. Pilapil earlier, those are actually learning plans. So that falls under the expanded opportunity. What tasks or activities are going to provide in class for students to expand their learning. So this is actually this part here that is actually being highlighted. High expectations, raising standards of acceptable performance, eliminating success quotas, increasing access to high level curriculum. When we did our course syllabus, we've noticed that we have program outcomes, and they are of three types. So we have those generic to schools, those generic to the program, and those that is very specific to a particular area of specialization. So those mentioned are actually taken from the CMOs. So those are the what we call expected competencies. But in OB, we have high expectations. We go beyond that. And then last one is design down. Start with the outcomes and not with the learning activities. That is why in our course syllabus, we started with the ILO, intended learning outcomes. So we don't start with what we are going to give to the students, which is the learning activities, but we start with what is it that we want our students to demonstrate. So that is actually the outcome. Okay, so I'll just have to skip that. Sir, then I'll go directly to our CTU syllabus. This presentation is very short. Okay, so what do we need to do first? So when we make our syllabus, or when we will be revising our syllabus, we have to consider, I'd like to emphasize again, our university's vision, mission, and goals. Okay. And then we take a look at the graduate attributes. So even if we're handling, let's say, for example, a gen ed class or a major class, and it might be very technical, we have still to consider, like, how can I make my students become effective communicator in my class, even if this is maybe perhaps what you call that, a very technical subject or a major subject. Because as reflected in our course outcomes, as mentioned earlier, which comes into three parts: common to all schools, common to the program, and then specific to that particular program, we have to lead our outcomes to the contribution and how these program outcomes will also be realized. And in order to do that, supposedly before we did the syllabus, we are expected to have a curriculum map. But because we started with the syllabus making, so we'll just make do with how we can improve it at present. But there has to be a curriculum map. There are specific subjects that will lead to the achievement or realization of specific program outcomes. Okay, so in our syllabus, this is actually the framework that we are using. We started with the intended learning outcomes of the curriculum. So the outcomes are formulated first, that's in the first column. And then from these, the assessment criteria are developed. Okay, so then we have the assessment tasks. Once an appropriate assessment regime has been designed, activities are organized that will teach the student how to meet the assessment criteria and hence the outcomes. And then on the third column, we have the teaching learning activities. What the teacher does and what the students do are aimed at achieving the outcomes by meeting the assessment criteria. This takes advantage of the known tendency of students to learn what they think will be assessed, and is called backwash by Biggs 2003. So this is our syllabus template. I think everyone is already familiar with this. The intention here is for us to take note all the time on the alignment among these four elements. So we started with the intended learning outcomes, followed by the assessment, and then teaching learning activities and the content. And then the rest of the other parts, I did not include that anymore because the focus here is just on the alignment. And then, of course, since we start with outcomes, we have to uh, have this paradigm shifting of how we think of how we are going to deal with students in class as reflected on the syllabus. So we have to focus on outcomes, what we intend to produce, and not on topics, what we intend to teach. Because traditionally, we are very conscious as to what will I teach from the first meeting up to pre-midterm, midterm, and finals, because what we are thinking is just how we can deliver the content. Now, this time, we have to change that perspective into from thinking about what to teach, we have to focus on what we want to produce. Uh, I think we all know for a fact that the future is so uncertain. So if I would be focusing on topics that I'll be teaching in class, I might forget that when my students will graduate, what maybe perhaps they will remember from what we do in class may not anymore be used or will not be helpful when they're going to get a job. So we have to prepare our students to the unknown future. So instead of thinking about what to teach them, we have to think about what do we want to develop in them. Okay. So we go now to the intended learning outcomes. This focuses on student outcomes or outcome statements to make explicit what the student is expected to be able to know, understand, and do. Okay, so here, outcomes are written in the context of students. And this able to do is not just anything, it is a capability that will require them to select the appropriate knowledge and skills and attitudes in order to perform it. This is performed with qualifiers. Okay, so this is how it will look like. So we start with the action verb, like what action students need to do to demonstrate that they have learned. So these verbs must be observable, can be observed by the five senses. And then it should also be measurable, okay? So that you will really have a particular assessment task that will determine whether they have learned or how much they have learned. And then, of course, we have to take note that the verbs that we will be using must fall under the higher order thinking skills in Bloom's taxonomy of educational objectives. And we have to take note that in general, the ILO is for the learner, not for the teacher. Okay, and the condition is what is being demonstrated, and you have here the standard. So I'll give you a sample on the next slide. Okay, so when writing the intended learning outcomes, we have to remember that the ILO defines what is to be learned and provide the link to designing teaching learning activities and assessment tasks. So this is actually what we have to always consider, that the ILO links the TLA, links to the TLA and the assessment tasks. Ideally, there should be no more than about 5 ILOs, as each has to be aligned with a TLA and with an assessment task. Based on the curriculum review meetings that we had, my first comment would always be, are we really sure that these 5 ILOs in pre-midterm be achieved or realized at this given period of time? Because there are so many. So this statement is not coming from me, but it really comes from William Spade, the father of OBE, that when we focus on the 4 principles, first principle, if we try to remember from the slide I reflected earlier, clarity of focus. So the more ILOs you have, the more our idea of our intended learning from our students will be really be scattered. So which means to say that if we would only focus on these 5, I think we will not have difficulty aligning our teaching learning activities and assessment tasks to this or to these enumerated outcomes. In other words, when we teach a subject, we would not normally expect students to learn more than 5 major outcomes. So maybe if you have been looking at your own syllabus right now, maybe you would realize that I think I have too many outcomes. Yeah, maybe I have to maybe combine this 2 to 3 outcomes into just one, so I can focus on my presentation, and students can also focus on their expected outputs, which will lead them to the development of the expected outcomes. Okay. And then guidelines for producing effective ILO statements says here, outcomes are about performance. And this implies there must be a performer, the student, not the teacher. There must be something performable, thus demonstrable or accessible to perform. That's why it has to be observable and measurable. And the focus is on the performance, not the activity or task to be performed. So, for example, um, I have seen a number of what do you call this syllabus that makes use of words like understand. Okay, understand is okay, but that is a very general what do you call that word that cannot be measured or observed. Okay, so just like the words know, understand, learn. So if we are going to go back to the question, how do you know that a student knows, or how do you know that students understand? So those are general verbs. So instead of using the word understand, we may opt to use any of the following. We can change the word understand to explain, interpret, or apply. Because when a student understands, a student can explain via generalizations or principles, or a student can provide justified and systematic accounts of phenomena, facts, and data, and make insightful connections and provide illuminating examples or illustrations. Or a student can interpret. He or she can tell meaningful stories, offer apt translations, provide a revealing historical or personal dimensions to ideas and events, and make it personal or accessible through images, anecdotes, analogies, and models. Or a student understands because he or she can apply effectively you because he can effectively use and adopt what he or she knows in diverse and real contexts. So we can do the subject. So I hope everyone gets to have a little understanding on the use of specific, observable, and measurable verbs. So we will not be using the words understand, know, and do anymore, but we go directly to action verbs. Okay. Next is, so that's for the first column. For the second column, we have the assessment task. And on our assessment task, there are 3 questions that we have to answer before we finalize on the assessment task that we will be writing on the syllabus. Number 1 is, what are we trying to achieve in terms of students' learning? Number 2 is, how should we organize learning to achieve this? And then number 3, how will we know whether we have been successful? Okay, so before we design our assessment tasks, we have to be able to answer these 3 questions. What am I assessing? What did I do in my teaching learning activities that will lead to this type of assessment that I'll be giving? And how would I know whether students have really learned? These are the 3 questions that we will ponder on. Okay. So in the assessment task, before designing any assessment tasks, an important first step is to decide what performance would represent evidence that a particular learning outcome has been achieved. Okay? A second step is to ensure that there is alignment between the learning outcome and the evidence. That's why you will notice that ILO first column, second column is actually the assessment task. So to check whether there's alignment between, okay, what is expected to what is being presented and what has been demonstrated. The key to achieving alignment mainly rests with the action verbs that we choose, which identify what it is a learner can do after successfully completing the teaching and learning activity. So here, we go to the third column, which is the teaching learning activity. The emphasis on the word activity, and it is important to ensure that the TLA is appropriate for the intended learning outcome and any subsequent assessment tasks. Therefore, TLAs should be specifically aimed at activating the action verbs used in the ILO. So if you remember the slide, 2 slides ago, you notice that the word understand, how do you know that a student understand? A student can explain. So if you use the word explain in your ILO, what particular activity are you going to give to your students in order for them to be able to realize that specific outcome that you have identified at the very start? Okay. And then these teaching learning activities can be as diverse as lectures. Now we have interactive lectures, we have face-to-face lectures and all that, or interactive lecture discussion. And then we have field trips and role play, internships, exchanges, discussions. These are just some. The only limits are your imagination and creativity. Anyway, you get to see some samples of this in the syllabus that you will see later on. So here it is. Okay, so sample, ILO, TLA, and assessment task. So I chose this first part because all, okay, syllabi has this in the first part of this particular part of our own syllabus. So we have to start with the course orientation that introduces the university's vision, mission, and goal. Now, this is taken from the sample syllabus that I made. That's why there are some parts here that are being inserted, because I included that after I will be presenting and we will be having an interactive discussion on the vision, mission, and goals. So let's go first to the intended learning outcomes. It says here, explain within the given period, students explain or can explain the relevance of CTU's vision, mission, and goal to the demands of the 21st century and in the new normal. So notice that maybe if you say explain may just be in the um, lower level, but if you notice at the way it is actually being phrased, okay, the relevance is actually students will actually construct their own understanding of the vision, mission, and goal, and relate it to its relevance to the demands of the 21st century and in the new normal. Okay. And the assessment task is a collaborative promotional video making, highlighting CTU's vision, mission, and goal, and reflecting graduate attributes and program outcomes, partly only. So you will notice that how will the students achieve in explaining the relevant, demonstrating how he or she can explain the relevance of CTU's vision, mission, and goals to the demands of the 21st century and the new normal. Because in the assessment task, students will be doing this. So by groups, they are going to um, do the collaborative promotional video making, highlighting and reflecting all these mentioned in the assessment task. And if you notice in the teaching learning activities, everything that is done in the classroom here is geared towards the assessment task and in achieving the intended learning outcome. So what are the teaching learning activities mentioned here? So we have here interactive lecture discussion on the vision, mission, and goals. And then we also have collaborative learning, where students will be sharing ideas on what is expected of them if they will graduate in CTU. Of course, that will be facilitated by the teacher. And here is a written task here where students write in their own words, okay, where teachers write in their own words the main ideas of CTU's vision, mission, and goal. So notice that the tasks here, the teaching learning activities, are preparing students. So it's just like they're having a training or they're practicing. Okay, they're actually doing this in class in relation to what they will be doing after, which is found in the assessment part, which is the promotional video, which will again lead to the realization of the intended learning outcomes. So this is how the alignment will work. So in the teaching learning activities, because we are, of course, this particular webinar is sponsored by Odelo. So we have this learning management platform. So because we are in the new normal and we are using this learning modality, which is actually online, okay, so we also have some new normal teaching learning activities like recorded lectures, because it is expected that in our class, let's say our class is MWF, we will not be meeting our students online every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So we will only be meeting them once a week. because as UNESCO mentions, online classes must not exceed 40 minutes. So in that way, we have to look for other teaching learning activities that students can actually maximize while we will not be meeting online. So these are recorded lectures, WebEx, web conferencing, group discussions through ICT tools, and individual and group work. And then the content is this one. So I think we all have the same content. So most of our syllabus have this. We have CTU's vision, mission, and goals, but I included the College of Education also vision, mission, and goal because the subject where I made the syllabus for this semester is actually a major subject from the College of Education, English majors. So the subject is teaching grammar and teaching and assessment of grammar. So I also included the qualities of a professional teacher. Why? Because we are talking here about program outcomes in the assessment. So the program is education, BS Ed English. So how will they reflect the graduate out attributes as a CTU graduate of Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education major in English? And then, of course, I just included the last part, the course outline and requirements, since this is the first week of classes, which is actually about the course orientation. So I hope you everyone gets to see the connection among the teaching learning activities, assessment, and then of course the intended learning outcomes. Okay, so sample. This fill in the blank example can help put this into context for your own subject matter. So if students have learned, for example, a particular topic or knowledge or subject of the course, then they should be able to specific action students can do if they know the content. So this is already the verb in the ILO. By completing an assessment or proof of knowledge. So this is our assessment task. For example, okay, if students have learned US history since 1865, then they should be able to explain the effect of immigration on American culture by completing an essay comparing and contrasting the effect of two immigrant populations on American culture from 1865 to 1900s. So this is an example on how the three would work. If one is able to do this in class, then he or she can, of course, uh, give a very good, perhaps, outcome can actually demonstrate what he has learned from the assessment task that will be provided, that will test what he or she has learned, which will lead actually to the intended learning outcomes realization. Okay, so in doing our course syllabus, the suggestion is first we also have to take note of the time frame. So we have a total of 18 weeks in one semester, and only 16 weeks is actually provided for the class schedule, because the 2 weeks are intended for the midterm week and the finals week to make it 18. So in doing this, the suggestion is that we will be dividing it into 4 periods. We have the pre-midterm that is going to take 4 weeks, and then the midterm week is for the midterm we have another 4 weeks, and then pre-finals another 4 weeks, and then the finals 4 weeks. So 4 times 4, 8, 12, 16. So that's a total of 16 weeks. And then after midterm, then 1 week will be midterm week, and then after finals will also be 1 week. 1 week finals week. Okay, so and our Obiday syllabus must present information that is simple, clear, and unambiguous, straightforward, because it must tell students what they will do and when they will do it. Let us try to also be reminded that the syllabus is all really intended for the students so that they get to see what is expected of them. Okay. And because they are the ones who will demonstrate those outcomes also expected after the teacher has presented or delivered the content and has designed the activities gearing towards the realization of the outcome. Okay, so then our CTU syllabus must be reflective of our vision, mission, and goals, graduate attributes mentioned here, and then the program objectives mentioned here.
Sir Cloyd, nawala si ma'am.
Yes, yes, sir. Andiyan pa man na siya, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Haka, ma'am.
Okay pa man ka, we are still within our schedule. Dr. Haka,
Wala naman si Dr. Haka, sir. Wala na siya sa panelist, Sir Cloyd.
Na-out siya,
Awa.
sir. Ako
Out,
po siya.
galing na brown out or ano sa ba? Naputo lang internet.
we will call Dr. Haka siguro. Wagin siya, kuha siya power.
Na yung mga request, sir, sa participants if maka-provide ba kuno sa PowerPoint presentation ni Dr. Haka.
During our meeting last Saturday evening, we already talked about it, Sir, di ba, Sir Cloyd? That's part of the arrangement. We'll look at the attendance so that the moment they're going to sign in evaluation, we will have to feed that information siguro. Of course, we'll be sharing. So everybody will embrace it. Mama mo ko naglisod ko pangita Dr. Pineda sa number ni Dr. Haka. Pwede matawagan siya ang telepono.
Yes, sir. Ako'y contact, sir.
Thank you. Anyway, about to end naman iyang presentation. While waiting, Sir Benolirao and Sir Cloyd and Sir Kamasura, naunsa na tong request sa others nga wala kasod na okay na? Na-arrange na to?
Grade na
Yes,
siguro.
na-extend na, sir.
Yes,
okay,
sir. Gi-extend na
thank
nato, sir. Gihulat na lang nato, sir, ang approval from the Zoom.
Okay, salamat.
Apply na mi, sir. Kay ano man gud sa gusto nako masing ma-log out ni ba akong hilabtan.
So pila itong capacity karon, if I may ask?
Mo max na tag 1,000 sir. Kaya na to
1,000.
Ali,
So
pilay
anyway,
current plug-in, Sir Cloyd.
509 sir.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Nawa si Ma'am Haka.
Malagi, gitawagan pa ni Dr.
Wa,
Pineda.
Sergio.
Anyway, about to finish naman pod siya adto nga lecture.
Out siguro.
Basta ang punto lang din ha is everybody please have to or has to embrace nga kana naging atong i-align ang ILO ngadto sa assessment unya ngadto sa teaching learning activities. Moto, if I may reiterate ingon si Dr. Haka nga, and of course William Spady, who is the father of OBE, is kanang we will not think of what we would want to teach, but we should think of what we would like our graduates to have, no? Si di ba usually moingon ang mga panel sa external panel, I'm referring to CHED, technical working group, who is going to visit like COPC and other assessments. They would comment that our syllabus or syllabi are not OBE based, no? Tinuod man sad ang format ra may ato sang OBE, ang format ra wala na to mo OBE ang pagkaistorya, no? So mao na nga according to Spady, not more than 5. Focus ta unya kana bitawng kanang ang activities pod nato mag-abot mo to curricular alignment gyud mo na nga nakita siguro sa taga external nga ang atong format OBE man pero ang sulod dili OBE. So ingon ana ang idea. So maybe with the presentations kanang ma-enlighten, ma-relearn na nato siya, ma-embrace na nato siya. Okay? So siguro we will not na lang kindly Ma'am Hides, dili na lang mo balik si Dr. Haka aron na mo sa og lecture palihog na ako communicate ari na siya sa question and answer.
Yes sir, gipabalik ko siya sa Zoom, ingon siya nga Nicole ko niya ganina siya katubag siya. She was thinking nga naa pa siya inko nawa ka ma'am siya mao ba kanang karon pa jud ko na magtabi kanang kuan niya ambot naon sa ka.
Sige na, okay
so
na lang.
reconnecting siya
Oo.
sir, pero dili lang siya mo discuss para na lang siya sa Q&A.
Ari na lang siya sa Q&A.
Okay.
Ari na ko niya og message privately.
Sir, yes sir.
Total finishing naman gyud na human naman to yang
Yes, sir.
presentation. Sige.
Okay sir.
Okay. At this point in time, we would like to also welcome our University Director for DICT to be talking about CTU mobile app. And to give us clarification on this, we have Professor Johannes Camasora. And before Sir Johannes, I would like also to acknowledge the presence of Ma'am Zarmilis Briones. So Ma'am Zarm, after the presentation of Sir Johannes Camasora, I would like to give this floor to you, or the platform to you. Kindly be an officer for today from 10 o'clock to 10:40. Ma'am Zarm, so Ma'am Briones is already part of the, how do I call that, Sir Cloyd? Panelist, no? Panelist, okay.
Doc
So Ma'am
Edwin,
Zarmi is...
na-promote na nako siya as panelist si
Yeah. So
Doc
after
Briones.
after Professor Camasora's presentation, I would like to turn over this microphone, the floor or the platform to Ma'am Zarmi or Dr. Zarmilis Briones. Ma'am Zarm, please acknowledge.
Nakamute siya.
Unmute, Ma'am Zarmi, just to hear your voice.
Okay, morning, sir.
Okay, good morning. Thank you very
Morning,
much, Zarm.
everyone.
Yeah. So again, do the introduction to Sir Johannes so he can start. Thank you.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. So as one quote crossed my screen, which said that e-learning doesn't just happen. It requires careful planning and implementation. So it's stepping up and become passionate about one's work, making e-learning courses that gets our students inspired, motivated to learn a new skill, and enkindles them to change a certain behavior and significantly improve their performance. So at this juncture, let's welcome Professor Johannes Kamasura for the CTU mobile app enhancement, our University Director for DICT. Sir?
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good
Sir?
morning.
I'll be sharing with you how mobile app will be used as part of the CTO flexible learning system. But the actual app that we'll be using as part of the co-branding that really CTU will be using starting September 1 are still on the final stage of the development. I'll be presenting to you the generic format on how to get the app from the Play Store and the for iOS also and Android. So I'll be presenting only the Android side. Anyways, part of the user manual will be incorporating all the processes with video presentation on how to access the app. But for the purpose of presentation, will be demonstrating using my mobile phone. I'm using the Android app. So, Sir Cloyd, can I have my share screen enabled?
Dahil na, sir.
Thank you. Share screen. Nana,
Yes, sir.
kita na kung nahong diha. So, I'm in a portrait. When we talk about mobile application, we all know that there is an accelerometer. Presentations and display will change once you change your orientation in your phone. So, where do we get our Odilo application is we will be using, if you are an Android operating system of your cell phone or your mobile phone, you will be using the Play Store. So in your Play Store, supposed to be will be using the keyword CTU FLS, Cloyd, no?
Yes, sir.
CTU FLS. On the production setup or the ones that we'll be using starting September 1, the keyword is CTU FLS. But if you try to access it now, line ang manggawas, flashlight, please alert, because we still have to approve from Google of all the Google the Play Protects, no, that the app are really compliant with the existing data sharing agreement as well as application with Google.
Yes, sir.
Deployed.
Yes, sir.
So we are still on the process of approval and final development of the app that we will be using. So take note, once it is approved by Google and it's now available in Play Store, the keyword is CTO FLS. Even CTO, I think pwede mo tingali atong paan ng CTO. Lain man gud si Colorado Technological University mo gawas ani. Nawa, CTO Student Mobile. Na CTO Faculty, CTO Training Solutions, but for us, once it is approved, ang makita na ang logo man gyud sa school. Di ba, Cloyd?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me try the spell out. Cebu Technological. Murag ang among jumpstart ani sa una ang gawas. Nakoy up sa una with Sir Rimiam dito, Vince. Wala na day. Wala na, gitangtang na. So wala pa. Nangyang Delhi, so wala. So hopefully, ano sa ang tentative na to ma-approve ni Sakloy last week?
Most probably, sir, within this week, I hope, sir, ang dugay namang nag-approve, sir, si iOS naman lang. Si Android, ready for publish na siya, sir.
Pero not yet pa. As we have searched now, wala pa man.
Wala pa, sir.
So,
Approve na sa Android, sir. Ang iyang APK approved na, but the publishing sa Google, sa App Store, dili pa siya
Play Store.
apa,
Sa Play
Play
Store.
Apa.
So, we want to be clear that until today, Play Store CTU FLS, that's the keyword, not yet searchable, as well as with the iPhone or the iOS operating system, which is the App Store, same ra ang iyahang keyword, so CTU FLS. So, di pa siya makita. So for now, I'll be demonstrating to you the content on how it would be Odilo lang sa ko, sir. Odilo app, di ba?
Yes, sir.
So once you search Odilo app, makita nyo kini siya nga icon. Something, di pero ang among branding sir no kay gold man no. Something gold nya CTU na ang makita,
Yes,
di ba?
Correct. Katong logo nyo talaga, sir.
So ako din ako mag-install because I already downloaded ni. So instead ang makita ang ninyo, instead of open, ang makita dia install. And it pila installer na to, Cloyd, mga 30 MB no? 36 MB I think.
Yes, sir. Gamay lang siya, sir.
So I will be skipping the process of installation. I'll go direct to open the app. So once you open the app, mag-log out sa kuan kay wala man yung login. Asa mag-log out kay account. Deactivate ko para ma-demonstrate lang no.
Yes, sir. Correct.
So balik ta para makita na ko tanan. Play Store, open. So this is the primary screen you will see after installation the first time you open the app. But instead of these numbers, instead of Udelo, you'll be getting the logo of our university as Cebu Technology University. Then the country that you're going to select, Philippines na taklid no?
Ano, sir? ES yung pilihan, sir. ES yung pilihan, sir.
Bisan inig CTU na?
Ay, dili, sir. For CTU na, sir, is Philippines, yes.
Yes. So I'll be demonstrating. So the correct one is once you first open the CTU FLS app, the country that we'll be selecting is PH, represents to Philippines. Then the library will be using muan ng eskwelahan di ba, Cloyd? Makita na da Cebu Technological University.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So on the library, we could it's alphabetical. So somewhere between Assumption College of Davao, and Davao Colleges and Universities Network, we will expecting Cebu Technological University will be on that part. Di ba, Clyde?
Yes, correct, sir.
So here are the schools in the Philippines that is currently using with Odelo. Makita ang gini-Clyde, no?
Yes, sir.
Sa mua.
Yes, sir. Apa.
So then select ka sa ato ang college, atong university. Kaysa may kung i-select si kuan lang si Samal Island kay inyong ning gi-search. Then once you participated the webinar and you fully activated your CTU email as part of the moderator content. That's the importance why you cannot use the mobile app not unless all your user account are properly provisioned with proper coordination with your MIS. So as what Odilo trainer, Sir Cloyd, and the rest of the group and the team, together with the facilitation of our campus director, Engineer Binulirao, we try to reiterate again that the only email that could be accepted on the CTU FLS platform for your username is the CTU email account only. So for those that are still trying hard and having issues in logging in your CTU account, please coordinate with your MIS, proper coordination, and I hope that you are enabling two-factor authentication for added security, part of the memorandum issued. So you will have your username. Normally, ang email man ni Cloyd, di ba?
Ay, ano, sir? Yung username niya, sir.
Sige. So ako, normally, yung siya. Yeah, your password. You know already the drill. Kung saan password you accept. Then, once okay na siya, you will click activate. So, if you have time to read about and the privacy policy that we agree between Odelo and Cebu Technological University, we really have to know the privacy issues considering with the Republic Act 10173 that once we implement the CTU FLS, we will be sharing sensitive information with ourselves, with our co-faculty, and the rest of our studentry. So we need to, if you have time, read the privacy policy. Kay Spanish na bilang gibutang ni Cloyd dire. I hope na dire in English. Can we have the English version later on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, sir, English na yan, sir. Baka hindi lang na auto-translate.
Okay. So that's part of this. So ako lang ilag on. Balik lang ko sa demo lang sa ko karon. But kato sa itong himduman, country PH, library would be representing the name of our university, then the assigned username, password, once we provision the actual server. So ako, ES lang sa ako, asa ko, ari ko sa Odilo English School for demo purposes, CTU. Then click the terms and condition use, then activate. So primarily the required fields are the same. We will only be changing the UI, the user interface, as well as the color branding that would align with the official colors of our university. So if you try to look at the default plugin is the catalog, wherein you could search with the minified menu. You click the three dots and three dash. You can have the option whatever you search, but default it's all. You can search specific publisher. You could search specific author, title. So for example, I'll search higher education na ba ni Cloyd? Dili pa no?
Dili pa,
The
sir.
content, di pa no?
Dili pa, sir.
Wala pa ma-search. Nada eh. Management, di man mao, di man database. So this is the one that you will be incorporating. So I'm still waiting with Dr. Pilapil as to the consolidated list of requested or suggested books that are part of the unified syllabus, where we could request from Odelo that it would be form part of the catalog inside this mobile app. Sir Pilapil, di ba? Sir Pilapil. So,
Yeah,
pwede na
yeah.
po siya ma-preview.
Yeah,
So,
we can generate the list coming from our syllabi references.
yes, then it will be part of the catalog that I am now presenting, sir. Di ba?
So take note,
you, sir.
faculty members and the cluster leader, we have to identify later on the list of books or references to be incorporated.
Yes, so wherein once you could go through with the functional training with webinar, you will be guided through the steps from the library of books to the migration of your learning path to your virtual classroom. So this is how we interact. Ano ni siya? Murag na ako sa isla sa Camotes. Huwag nagtuyok-tuyok.
Wala pa maapang
So, patience is a virtue. So this is the actual view. Nakabarog ba ko? Portrait akong screen da, Bert, no?
Yes, portrait.
Ako kunong i-access ko kunong kilid. Ni-change.
Okay na.
Mas dako.
Oh, landscape na.
Oh, so I would like to demonstrate to you that even using a mobile phone that's 6.5 or 7.1 inch, pwede na ninyo makita ang iyang content with the chapters, copyright direct ako, og sa dihang gilak. Description ng kukutob.
Dili ka sir, dili ka maka-view sa imong screen sa mga, sir.
Waka?
Kay sir, part of the
Security,
sir, dili nimo na ma-up to chapter 1.
Oh.
Inana.
So there is, di na ko rin ma-zoom in.
Pwede get, sir.
Zoom in, ko gabi eh.
Kay imuha man tong screen sir, ikaw man nag-read. Kung i-share nimo sa mo sir, na detect naman na karon ni Odilo nga gi-share screen nimo.
OMG. Okay. So,
Yes.
anyway, to all attendees, try to experience yourself. Once you will be having your proper functional training for 3 days, you have the full experience of all this one. Okay, kung di ko ni-share screen, mudako man ni siya, mo zoom sa mga, di ko siya, di rin siya kutob, Brad.
Yes, yeah.
So, once dili niya na ko i-share screen, you could zoom it up to your vision, prepared zoom in percentage that your age would align sa mga edad-edaran o sa mga di na kay kaklaro. So, doon na siya adjustment. So, now you know nga kung i-share din ninyo inyong content, di din na siya ma-display. Added security na siya, sir.
Only for the
So, I
CTU.
think on my part, so kung nakay gipang download, nalagi ko gi-download lagi, Dancing with the Tiger. So, makita ninyo sa ubos, ibabaw na sa menu, na po siya sa ubos catalog. Nakita ba ko diha?
Yes.
Sa akong gipa-click?
Yes, Joe.
So if na kay libro nga napili that is aligned to your unified syllabus, you could add it to the favorites. So, ano na pag-add sa favorites? So, to pag-add return long. So, makita na ko dire ang imong mga pangpili na pay more button, na check out history. So, technically, librarians could facilitate also using the app. Diba, naka-attend naman ang mga librarians.
Yes, sir.
Bert and Sir Cloyd for the past 2 batches. Si Mamorina naka-attend naman sa main, diba?
Yes, sir.
So, we would collaborate, students, faculty, as well as the library, now that we are in the new normal, where library now are locked with the physical facility nato. Di na to problema sa 1 meter per student because we are now unifying it into an online platform, the CTU FLS. So all your holdings, your statistics, how often you read your books are there, nasa yung mga settings. I hope within this week, ma-up na ni siya Sir Cloyd para ang the whole content na yun is the real content. Pero we would like to extend your understanding and in good faith. I know until today, 3rd week na karon, wala pagyapon mo yung notice to proceed. But you are still continuing facilitating all these activities of training for free, part of our contract, nga wa pa ang contract. So I really appreciate in behalf of the university, Cebu Technological University, we are greatly your indulgence and passion of extending such training, a new of a kind training. Sa una among training, daghang kaon, daghang snacks, na ay Goldilocks, na ay Red Ribbon, karon puro sa ginismile sa screen. I hope everybody would try to embrace the new normal. There's no turning back. It's about accepting change, since change is the only constant in this world. I hope everybody would have a happy face of this new undertaking. And this might be the end of my presentation. And thank you. Good day. Good morning to all.
Sir, you forget to mention, sir, dito sa mobile, sir, the faculty, for example, faculty would like to create a modification sa virtual classroom. Doon, sir, sa pinaka-second page niya, sir, book virtual classroom or book club, the faculty can already create, sir, dito a virtual classroom as well, dito sa mobile phone na to, kahit sa mobile app.
Di mo kita
doon sa pinaka-setting.
Wait.
Second page, sir.
More settings.
Yes, doon, sir, balik doon, sir. Yan.
Book club.
Book club. Actually, virtual classroom, you can create, sir, dito a class.
Yes, once, but that would be created once their book that they are using on the unified syllabus are already part of the catalog, right?
Yes, sir.
For example, kini.
Pwede na sila dito, sir, mag-modify, mag-create at the same time.
Dari ko ni si
Yes,
Sami. Count with me. Okay? We will count. So, muna siya. So, I will not be elaborating the details of this one but yes, they can enroll. You can create your title, your learning path. So, muna siya tanan.
Yes.
Ang exercises. Pero detailed na mo guni. We are considering ron, Cloyd, nga ang uban ani nag-attend ron, wa pa ka webinar. Di ba, Sir Pilapil?
Yes, wala pa.
Napay-
So I will not
We still
be.
have the
I
third
don't.
batch this coming Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then last batch next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yes, I would not be I would not be preempting your expertise, but just a glimpse of those things. So Mone, this is the things that you are going to do in details for the next 3 days for the third batch. Katong mga humana, you continue adjusting and functional training ninyo dire. So there are the timelines, the title, any book that would be part of your wow.
Tara.
Okay, mabasa ang messages. Forums. So makita nyo diya, we are in one platform. You can communicate, and just to inform you, once you will be using the CTU FLS, once you use the connectivity kit, and the students are using also the connectivity kit, this is part of the free data access. So kung you are now logged in, kunya putol-putol imong internet, ma-download naman nimo, then you could continue browse the app even though wala na ka internet connection. So it doesn't need always on real-time internet connection using the mobile app. This is the advantage of the mobile app because this is now the counterpart in implementing asynchronous learning. Diba? Diba, Sir Bert?
Yes.
Yes, the mobile app really helps the students to continue learning at their self-paced, at this self-paced and their prepared time together with their uh, professor. Naman sa day part diha nga, pwede mo magstorya sa tanan. You could do a forum of a certain topic you are going to hustle hard in order to have an open discussion. And you could also communicate if you are on the academic side and boost your students using daily quotes. You could also use that one. Then this one is the advantage. You could chat. You don't need a Facebook group. You don't need another group, another platform. Within the platform of the CTO FLS, you could communicate directly to your students. Even though they are not online, once they could get back online, they would get all those messages, like what you did on your Facebook. So statistics, you could have kinsay nagbasa, pila ka ilang grade. All the data analytics are all there, like what we could have on your desktop. So I know faculty would really have hard time once you do the actual teaching using the mobile. So in my level of experience with online setup, yes, I could do teaching using mobile, but I know percentage of the faculty, both regular and part-timers, really have really hard adjusting the new normal. So ang uban ana mo prepare og desktop. So if you try to look at desktop mode, if dako imong screen, pwede ra sa dili mag dual monitor. Pero kung gusto gin mo og enhanced learning experience, I would strongly suggest that the best setup for faculty is really on a mobile laptop. Then you have an additional screen nga mo extend nimo. So you will have a dual display wherein the other side is the live feed conferencing of your students, and the other side is your discussion panel wherein to give an enhanced experience on how you do your FLS teaching activity. So kini akong ipakita karon, this is to satisfy the side of the students wherein they could just simply go through your learning path, forums, timelines, exercises in one display. So medyo tech savvy pa if you would accept the fact nga mas mayo pa mo scroll na nato atong mga estudyante kontra sa ato ang uban nga mga faculty. We do accept that kay mas digital native na sila of the other faculty nato. But for faculty, by default, I would suggest that you will have the laptop or desktop setup with dual monitor. Would you agree with me, Sir Cloyd and Sir Bert? Di ba mas maayo? Ikaw, Sir Bert, wala mo kag-studio na diha.
You can set up multitasking, so dual monitor get the best.
Kung di na mo kinahanglan mamalit og monitor, kung na may existing TV diha, bisag di na sa smart, na HDMI cable, all laptops are capable of extending into dual monitor. So we will just facilitate with your MIS to help you set up sa inyong balay for the best teaching experience. To really extend the learning engagement CTU are aiming to achieve for this incoming first semester. Na-extend na ko, Bert, kay murag ni thank you naman ko ganina. So, I think, stop na ko kay daghan pang istorya. Once again, thank you and welcome to the new normal CTU.
Thank you, Director Kamasura.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Kamasura, for that informative preview of how Odilo works. This would really help e-learning easier for all of us, especially in taon tong dili pa kaayo kamao. Thank you so much, sir. In these not so normal times, we don't just need to embrace e-learning, but to live with it. As what Kathy Moore stressed, that we need to see e-learning design not as information design, but as designing an experience. May I see your thumbs up signs in your window, just to check if you're all still there. Hello, everyone. Naapata diha. Okay. So thank you. So I think we're good to go for the open forum with Dr. Roslyn Gonzalez, the College Education Dean of CTU Danao. Ma'am Roslyn. Let's zoom in, Ma'am Roslyn. It's your turn. Let's have our open forum. Dr. Roslyn.
Hello. Open forum ba? Dili ba diretsyo? Then open forum will be later part.
Sir, open forum in the morning.
Nasa program?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Wala man akong kopya. pwede
Since this is
for the day, for the morning. Because we still have 10:10 to 10:40. Kay Ma'am Tumol, then 10:40 to 11 kay Sir Fitzgerald. I don't know kung mao ba niya ako ano. And then
Sir, sa akong copy, sir, kay afternoon siya ang mga sample course pack, sir.
Okay. Nausap na di ay niya. Sige, okay. So now, open forum na ta. That means last na ni siya.
Yes, sir.
So all the four will be in the afternoon.
Excuse me.
Yes,
Naidagan
ma'am.
nag-text, sir, sa ato GC sa Management Council. Naidagan ko na wala kasulod.
Sir Cloyd, unsaon man siya, sir? Ni Max na ta?
Standby lang, sir. Actually, sir, gi-upgrade na ako, sir. Actually, gi-upgrade na. Good to go. Ang reply na lang sa Zoom, sir, wala pa gid ang allotted nga 1,000 sa kuha. Wala pa gid na approve. So, hello?
Dr. Aranas is texting. Nakasulod ko, ma'am, pero nawala. $509 lagi ang nakasulod. So, dili na ni siya more than 509?
Actually, ma'am, capable na ta sa 1,000 karon po.
Okay, ako na inon sila. Kay ang ingon, same lang gyapon, dili maka-in. So, we will advise them to log in again.
Yes, ma'am. Please daw, ma'am. Kay okay naman ako ang diri sa Zoom.
Please log in.
Join in balik, ma'am.
Zoom can accommodate 1,000. Zoom can now accommodate. Okay, thank you for.
Same user meeting ID o password.
Sir Cloyd, na-mute ko no si Ma'am Gonzales. Maong di siya katingog for the open forum. Paapil siya siguro.
Wala pa siya na panelist siguro, sir? Sir Cloyd?
Dr. Roslyn Gonzalez of Danao. Nitawag iyang campus director.
Ano sa account ni ma'am? Roslyn
Gonzalez, sir.
Okay. Ako lang ikuan, sir.
Sir Bert, na-promote na ako si Ma'am Gonzales.
Thank you, Sir Franz.
Unsa man na-solve na to nga Ma'am Heidi nga concern, like to invite na the others to come in.
Yes, sir. Okay na to, sir. Kay 510 naman gani. So, katong
Sige,
wala pa
sige.
ka-join.
So
Pa-join.
oo. Ma'am, palihog lang ko message sa Management Council, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Ako nag-message, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay na si Ma'am Gonzales?
Yes, sir. Okay na ko, sir. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, ma'am.
I will introduce siya
Good morning, sir.
Ma'am Zarm para mo take ko na siya.
Okay, so at this juncture, we'll have the open forum with Dr. Roslyn Gonzalez, the College of Education Dean of CTU Danao. Ma'am Roslyn, let's zoom in.
Hello, I'm Sar. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Now let's have our open forum. I strongly suggest that you post your questions through our group chat or for our question and answer. There's a question from Mai Kabinge here. Is that different from the ones we worked on 2 weeks ago?
Who will answer that?
Sir?
I'll
Yes,
first
sir. Yes,
answer
sir.
that. I'll first answer that. This activity, Mamay, is what you're referring to is really in the memorandum, it is complementary to the ongoing rounds of Udilo activities. No, the first batch was in the first week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, first Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of August, motong taga Argao, Danao, and CTU main cast, no? And then the second week, I could not recall kinsa tong second week. And then now we will be on the third week. On the fourth rounds will be next week, no? This is in complementation. This is not well. Maybe it's different because the focus on the 3-day activity with Odilo, purely Odilo, is on the functionality and how to operate the how to navigate, I think. And then here we are going to look into the content of what are we going to translate later on and what are we going to migrate later on to Odilo form platform. So meaning from our, I said that previously a while ago in the morning and in the early part of the morning that from our syllabus, from our unified syllabus, we are going to translate that syllabus into a learning pack, a course pack, or an instructional material or a study guide, if we may call it, or particularly simply called module. But Dr. Alibin would prefer it called course pack. Okay, so that's why we are adapting the concept of course pack for the undergraduate courses. Now, we will be designing our activities. Hopefully, it will be now fit to the platform. But then, if we have that limitation, not yet to, because we don't know yet on what are the features of Odilo, then because we are not yet certain, or maybe we are not yet exposed to that, especially those who have not yet been trained. So let's just have our initial kind of learning pack that will be readily migrated. So at least we have now the content. We've been teaching for quite a time, especially for those who have been in CTU. And of course, there are also a group of newly hired faculty who perhaps has not experienced yet, or maybe few years of teaching experience. So put together all the resources, all the activities that we have into our course pack. But again, focused activity based on our focused ILO. I hope it answers the question. And maybe from Odilo Group or from other panelists, you can answer the question of Ma'am Maida.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pilapil. I think there are no more questions, but if there are still questions, I would like you to type your questions on our chat box. Thank you.
Will I be allowed to just do
Question
it
and answer.
orally? Ma'am Rose?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Please
Yes,
allow
sir.
me. Please allow me because I don't have my operator here. I mean, the laptop is far, far away. I'm just,
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
just use this one or I'll have it orally na lang. My question
I
to Odilo, my mom, my question to Odilo is that, are we allowed or is it possible to update our references or activities while the class of the semester is ongoing? Although we understand that it has to be finished, no, I mean, uh, all the materials, all the syllabi, the materials are supposed to be intact prior to the opening of classes, but we cannot avoid the thing that this is still first of its implementation, and might as well the faculty members would want to update, would want to, because as I've said, as shown in the presentation of Sir Kamasura, that Odilo has not yet uh, given us the final list of higher education references. Am I correct? So now, as we go along, as you update the references there in Odilo, and if the faculty member would see that there is a certain reference in Odilo that we can make use of and put that in our specific course pack, is it possible that at our own pace, at our own time, at our own place, we can update the course pack, sir?
Yes, sir.
Odilo?
Yes, actually, sir, yes. Sir
Okay,
Edwin.
thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you. If that's the
yes.
case, no?
No worries
So,
po, sir. Yes.
so faculty members, I'm addressing this to all that um, since this is first of its implementation, then I would say not messy, not topsy-turvy, but it's not systematic in a way because we have a lot of things to consider here. So I hope that you have to also bear with us and bear with the system and bear with what we have because of the new normal. We become very creative at this point in time as we go through, no? So thank you if it's possible. Sige, I have lots of questions here, but maybe others can also ask questions. I'll just come in unless wala pa ma'am, can I still make use of my time for this? Wala pa nangutana lain diha, Ma'am Roslyn.
Daghang question, sir.
Hana,
like
sige.
question, sir.
Munong sa ako, sige sila sa.
Yes. This is a question from Sir Arnel Noval. Do you have another separate training for Odilo since the Odilo platform hasn't been configured with the needs of C2 instructors like uploading of handouts, PowerPoints, videos, and activity sheets? From Sir Arnel Noval, sir. Do you have a separate training for Odilo?
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
understanding.
Yes, actually, there will be another rounds of trainings for this one, especially when we already live the web and the mobile apps and also those functionalities and features. Once it's already live, everything is done. So there will be another round for the faculties and for the teachers, especially for the whole CTUs. At the same time, on top of that, we will be creating a tutorials, videos, and at the same time manuals.
Shared na, sir.
May I,
Thank you, Sir Cloyd.
may I come in? May I come in just to
Yes, sir.
interject? Just to
Yes,
interject.
sir.
Maybe to Sir Kamasura or Sir Binoliraw, asa na to isod na nga special or separate training? That's good question because that's really very necessary. Pero ari na siya sa September mahitabo, if I may ask.
Probably, sir, because we have already scheduled the batches for the
Puno
training.
naman tas Agosto.
Yes, sir.
We are
26
full.
to 28.
Oo, oo. So, ari gina sa September first week perhaps.
First week. Yes, sir.
Ah,
Announcement na.
sama ang klase, what are we going to I mean, Sir Kamasura, unsa may imong maayo nga plano for this? Ako, I agree with Sir Arnel, no? Nindot na siya. I also have that question, which can also be connected to Sir Cloyd's statement na natay tutorial, no? Sige ko no, Sir Kamasura. Okay ba na while nagklase while first week, no, September 1 until 7, no? until 6 naman dito Saturday. Asa man ta maka-training kaya?
Wa man si Sir Joe comes.
Wa si Sir
Sir,
Joe comes.
sir, may I
Ye-
have a question, sir?
yes, yes. In relation to this, Ma'am Haka.
Odelo, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Sige, okay.
Akong question, sir, ba for the Odilo people is that every time a new platform is actually being introduced, there's always pilot testing because we have to come up with a common understanding on how this LMS should be implemented in the classroom because I think the point of view of Odelo is different from the point of view of the teacher. So my question is there a possibility that Udelo can provide a pilot testing like you get one particular teacher in CTU who is ready with all his materials and then syllabus and then team up with you and then present to the group because I think this is what the teachers really need like how do I in relation also to the question earlier like how do I upload my syllabus my materials or I think one of the most important question is do you have available materials that we can use in our class something like that because as we have seen the books in the library are too generic so can Udelo provide us a very specific example like for example this particular subject we have this ready materials we have this ready assessment and then we have this ready activities because in some schools what they have is that if they have a particular learning management system everything is already there so let's say this is our subject so these are suggested activities and this is actually a pool of assessment tasks that you can use but you can opt to also use your own so my concern is it possible for Odelo to provide us a pilot testing of a real class situation with the materials that the teacher is using and of course enhanced by your available materials that we can really use in our specific classes? What is sir?
Sir Cloyd or Sir Francis, can you please answer that? Or
Sir
maybe Sir
Pilapil,
Binoliro?
Sir
Yes,
Pilapil, I'm
Sir
back.
Johannes.
Sorry,
Sige.
I need to, ako yung answer, sir, o nagpahibalo na kung balik
Bisan
na ko.
Odilo Osa, and then after that, kamong and part ko and facilitators.
Sige,
Thank you.
sige. Go ahead.
Actually, regarding on that, ma'am, actually that's a good question. Actually, first question is regarding about the pilot with the teachers and us. Actually, that's why we already created a username and password during the webinar session last 2 weeks ago, and this and almost 6 sessions already is done. We created them a user password and they can play around with our virtual classroom at the same time. And then for the upload of those documents into our digital platform, actually, ma'am, once the platform is ready, we will be teaching again the faculties how to upload into the digital platform at the same time into the virtual classroom. And prior to that, ma'am, I think we would like to ask the academic affairs, and I think we already have a conversation with Director Kamasura on that, na before we upload the documents, dapat maset nyo muna po yung policies and guidelines into your institutions because in Odilo, we have a different security features, which is we allow download from the students or we don't allow the students to download, how to set up the parameters in terms of security features of your own content. Yan po yung number one concern namin sa amin na side. The other one, in terms of doing those materials available with us, actually, we already provided 20,000 plus titles of digital content, which is coming from different publishers at the same time. And also, we will be giving a credits to CTU to select those titles that is not available into the digital platform as well. But we need to get first the list of titles. What are those materials needed into your classes? For example, those teaching materials that you are needed. Okay, kasi I know for a fact that some professors and teachers are very particular in using their own content, especially their own publishers, authors, they have a preferred one. So, kailangan po namin muna yung list na yon. And then, in terms of doing the trainings with the teachers, we need to coordinate po which from us and your side. That's why I was thinking kasi yun yung sa breakout session. So, we will be teaching each department, especially from engineering, IT, education. So, they will be teaching, I think Dr. Bert will be presenting how I think he already created some course pack and subject classes already in the virtual classroom, and that will be the template from the CTUs. Actually, I'm very grateful and thankful to Sir Engelbert na gumawa siya nung ganong initiative na gumawa na siya ng klase into our virtual classroom as well.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Yes, Sir Pilapin. With regards to the question and inquiry regarding the content that is readily available that our faculty could avail and use aligned with the subject assigned to them for this incoming semester, sir. We are doing in triple schedule. So this is in relation to our unified syllabus undertaking that it's been quite a tedious task. In short, ang atong 2 years nga activity part of the ISSP atong gibuhat for the past 3 months, and I really appreciate those people that are really interested in putting extra time together with our deliverables. But for the courseware, sir, we are now working with another supplier that is providing us a complete set of deliverables. The course pack that we might be using for a certain subject, for example, the sciences, the technology, the engineering, and the IT, for example, we will be purchasing a separate set of content. It's a detailed content with learning outcomes, with simulation that would be uploaded to this FLS. So with Odelo's part, what we are uh, subscribing to them is really the platform. It's really the learning experience that we could provide and assure our faculty and students that even the 40,000 expected students that will be using this platform starting September 1, it could deliver efficiently, that will not issue on system crash, there would be issue on lagging. That's one of the primary purpose why we select labor enterprises with the Odilo platform to cater our resource. But for the purpose of the detail of the content, it really up to us as a university that we come up with a streamlined process of what we have done before with our syllabus. Ang magbuhat kung kasi nagtudlo mo oras ay atong that's my academic freedom. So now I really appreciate with our VP for academics that is really into unifying the content for the purpose of quality outcome regardless of what campus you are within the Cebu Technological University, that we could expect the same learning experience that we could provide to our students. That's the time, that is why we are now creating a unified syllabus and creating a course pack. So let us be clear, this webinar is an enrichment or a supporting activity of our ongoing 3-day functional training. So it would add up that once our LMS is already ready, we could upload the unified setup. For example, for the first semester of a certain program, for example, BSIT, Information Technology, we have 9 subjects. So we could come up in 9 unified template of syllabus that all faculty, all teachers and professors handling subject, professional subject, core subject, elective subject will have a unified syllabus to be uploaded in the Odelo platform. So in our office, we are waiting for in fact, Ma'am Ann Villaganas already uploaded and shared with me those unsa to siya, sir? Final draft, final version, beta version
Uh,
to siya?
that will I wouldn't like to call it final, but that's already the thing that we are going to use at this point in time. Because if we are going to be very strict about it regarding the presentation, with respect to the presentation of Dr. Haka, daghan pa gyud usbonon. Unya, time is of the essence. So, ang ato na lang buhaton, I already said this before, no, in the series of activities that we had. That meantime, whatever we have, let's make use of it, and that will be considered, I would say, unified, because that's the only one syllabus that the whole university is going to use. However, along the way, Dr. Haka will start, and the rest of the committee for the curriculum will start reviewing all those and will also give our comments. However, we cannot polish it for this semester. That's the reason why we have to give the go signal to go on. And then, ang ato lang dyan dihang kana na ang, how do I call that? Parang preparation is really to do it na gyud hinay-hinayon na ginantog so good for the second sem. So, while nagdagan
Yes.
ang first sem, ang second sem mo atong tarungon nga kanang nindot na gyud pagkabuhat ba nga na OBE na, kanang focus na, gamay na lang ang atong mga ILOs o CLOs niya, ang atong program outcomes, so nato gihurot og hakop. So there is already the map, no, kanang mapping of the curriculum. Unya ako man, so ako na kuan kay ko very idealistic pananglit, but then this is the thing that we have to do. And then kana na ang ma-ready nato na by karon within the first sem, i-ready nato ang second sem. So ini-go on na pud sa second sem, kaning atong gihimo karon ato na sanang i-polish. So ibutang tanga ang atong polishing sa karon nga first sem will happen in the second sem. Mo na ako ang plano.
Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you for
nag-design
sharing. Thank you for
nag-design na
sharing
ni
with us.
ana ni Ma'am Haka og kanang plan unya mo detalye na siya sa iyang training design later on that is to be presented to me and to the committee, and we will have to coordinate with you to help us in this
Yes, yes.
webinar.
As always, sir. We really on the on the behind scene of all these things. But I really appreciate the curriculum department, a curriculum development team that really haggled to the intricacies of all these things, because after all these years, this is the first time that we're really into quality education in a unified format. That's one of the blessing in disguise of the COVID-19 pandemic brings to us, that we're really into accepting the true essence of continuous improvement as what we are mandated with our ISO certification. That yes, by September 1, we would like to understand that each one of us really try to focus on the directions that our BP for academic is really gearing towards into a unified format in order to assure that syllabus, arin lang sa syllabus sir mo commit, nga if you try to look at how many programs a campus is offering this upcoming semester, there are an average of 8 to 11 subjects at the first semester. So if we talk about what course that all campuses are offering, I think ang BSIT, BIT, Industrial Technology across majors, naaman tingali na tanan. For example, computer technology, I know all campuses are there. And I would like to appreciate based on the submission yesterday, I ran through with it. Then I know with the efforts of the IT department and the computer technology, they already have submitted the unified format of the syllabus. I hope the rest of the subject and programs will also do so and follow with it, because it takes time still from a word format unified syllabus. Once it would be approved, and I will be the one submitting it with Odelo, with Sir Cloyd, there are still technical part of it that will be uploaded, so that once all those programs, for example, Bachelor of Science in Bachelor in Industrial Technology, major in Computer Technology, will be uploading all those 11 unified syllabus. So once you are a faculty handling any of those 11 subjects, you don't need to construct one by one the outline, but you simply have to select on the course template and put it as part of your class ID. Am I correct, Sir Cloyd? That would be the setup. Sir Cloyd?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Correct. Yes, sir. Correct.
Yes. So,
Sir, FYI lang, sir, I would to announce, we are already can accommodate 1,000. Zoom just approved.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. They are still waiting
Welcome.
to
They are not yet late,
Okay.
actually. No, they are not yet late because there are still other presentations. Good that they can come in. Thank you.
thank, thank you, Sir Clyde. Thank you, Sir Pilapil.
Okay.
So,
Sure.
finally,
Okay na to, sir.
okay na ko ato, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Anak ako isulti in relation to this, Ma'am Rose.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Ako rin yung mga interjection sa mga questions or mga discussions kanina. Now, si Sir Kamasura was mentioning about the syllabus, no? And then Dr. Villaganas Mary Ann, who is part of the VPAA staff, Dr. Pineda, and Dr. Haka, Dr. Wilson Tayabok. Okay, I would like to announce that as prompted or as provided by Dr. Villagana's information regarding the syllabi submission, there are still other syllabi that have not yet been received by the Office of the Vice President for Academic Affairs. And this is just a reminder to all. I hope that all campuses are listening and all campuses or concerned in charge focal persons are listening. Um, Before I will submit your sorry ha, but I have to do this, your names to, because I have to also inform the president, no? Dili man ingon nga nagpalaban, but at least kanang aron lang gyud taba, because we have to be very, now we have to also shift our paradigm of thinking that kana bitawng punctuality, mao mo ginay problema gid nato ever since nga dili pa ko BPEA katupang coordinating pa ko, and I was also doing the work of Dr. Haka before when I was the dean of instruction, at the same time dean of the College of Arts, and then nagiging university dean of instruction. Every time there are deadlines for submission, di gyud na mahimo, and even until now actually it's really very hard for me, no? But then tungod aning messenger, panawagan yun akong tagsa-tagsa ang concern na, uy, submit na yung taon ninyo yung ana-ana. So, siguro by this time, kay time is of the essence, so niya, magsugod tag September 1, niya, wala pa ng syllabus, lisod kayo. No? Unlike manggod sa face-to-face nga, bahalag why syllabus, I mean, this is the reality, this is the true story. Bahalag walay syllabus, abot sa classroom, I have the stock knowledge, I can deliver the goods immediately. Dili naman ang maugod karon, no? Ato manggod yun ang ikuan kay unsa man nato pag ano, so because we have to follow the policy, no? So ako niya nang ikuan, Ma'am Villaganas, kuan ni ko kay naman check, we made a checklist, no? We made a checklist of submission. So alert lang daan palihog ang mga in charge kay kinahanglan na namo and other syllabi that are already submitted to the office are already forwarded. Thank you, Dr. Villaganas. Thank you, Dr. Pineda and Dr. Haka, that these syllabi are already now with Odilo. Am I correct, Sir Kamasura? Sir Kamasura? Anyway, it's already submitted, no? It's already submitted to Sir Kamasura, and I hope that's already uploaded in our Odilo. Now, with regard to this, I have a question linked to this syllabus thing. I have a question to Sir Kanana ang Odilo, no? Sir Cloyd or Sir Francis, or even our panelists who are from CTU. Now, we are talking about list of titles, no, that are in the unified syllabus or syllabi. Do we still have to submit the list when it's already in our uploaded, I suppose, uploaded syllabi? That's already with you. Kay it
Sir,
may be, yes, sir. Sige, go ahead.
in response to that, sir, kasi sir dito sa Odilo kasi we have two sets of platform, which is the digital platform and also the virtual class platform. So actually, sir, a part of the first thing first, the teachers or the professors can share those content, those syllabus or manuals directly to the digital platform, and in which is the students can automatically download those course pack or those modules or teaching materials na in-upload niya. At the same time, pwede din sir ni teach kung ayaw ni teacher or ni professor i-share yung course pack niya or yung modules niya within the community of CTU, ang gagawin niya na lang po sir is he can upload it directly into his virtual classroom. So it will be only the students can have it access. Pwede pong ganun sir.
A moment. I have a question. No? Since the syllabus, ako sang i-define, the syllabus is unified. We have a unified list of references. And that is found in the unified syllabus. That's number one. I got your point. Because there's a certain faculty who would wish to have enrichment. So that enrichment is personally made by him, no? Enrichment activity is personally made by him. Or perhaps because of intellectual property right, wala pa siya wala pa siya na kanabitang na wa pa siya makakuha og how do we call that, copyright, no? Wa pa siya maka-copyright iyang personal kay ug imo mong i-share, it becomes public, and ug imong i-share wala na ang kinsay makauna ang copyright po itag iya nahitabo mo na, no? So then I understand. So siguro certain faculty kana si faculty nga gusto pag naay enrichment will go directly to will prepare his or her separate material or that could be uploaded to asam na i-inform, who will be informed, MIS or like for example no ako si faculty and I follow the online, or rather I follow the unified syllabus. I also follow the references list of references in the syllabus, but then I want to add, I want to enrich, I will not share it because it's not yet copyrighted, because I have a purpose of I would like to also give credit to what I have done. Kaya magdawat limpyo man ang uban. No?
Sorry, I interject.
Did I get it right? So then asa man na ako i-submit. Sige, Sir Engelbert. Naman tayo sitwasyon. There was a question like that in the first batch of trainees. Sige.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
excuse me, before moving on, I would like to remind the body that there are 11 questions lining up.
Yeah. Ako sa ning humanon. Okay, this the part ma-related man. Okay. Thank you for that, Ma'am Rose.
Very short information lang na. Our Odilo platform, once you create your class or your club, no, they call it club, but we requested to have it a class, no, para academic ay siya. Once you created that one, it's part of the features that you can upload your own materials. That was suggested by one of the faculty on the first batch, no, that they have their own materials like PowerPoint, PDF, whatever materials that they want for that particular class as their instructional material or aids, no, to enrich. So that's what Dr. Edwin have said, that enrichment. But as to the copyright materials like references and even ebooks, no, that they have and which cannot be found in the Odilo, that should be channeled to the MIS in order that material will be shared to the CTU community, where if you are teaching the same subject, you can share that one. But of course, there's an issue on the copyright, no? So we should have to agree with that with the BP ACAD. But as to the enrichment materials, it's already in the feature that you can make use of the platform to upload your own materials to enrich your class. And that can also be done, no, to share that with your students. If ever you want it to be secured, there will be restriction. You can make use of your Google Suite, Google Drive to share the material, and only those who are your students can download and can make use of the material if you want to enrich with your own material. So that is present in the platform. Now, I would like to inform everyone that this is not hard to learn the platform. No, in fact, I've been using Google Classroom, Schoology, Moodle for quite times already. When I look at this, this is actually Moodle. Nagyapon ni siyang ang kaning gigamit nga pinaka-platform aning Odilo. But the only thing is the digital library, because once we have the digital library for CTU, we have our own library for the CTU community where we can share. But this is what being question, or we being asked by one of the faculty that can we have a unified references all over the university if we want unified. So it's really a matter of shall we say, come up with an agreement that if you're teaching the same, let's say, what math 101 all over the university, if you have the same content, you have the same syllabi, it can be that you can have the same references, which all those references are found in the digital library. But if you want to enrich in your particular class, you can upload your own materials for use. I can demonstrate that this afternoon with my course pack. So
Sige, okay.
it's not difficult. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay. Sige. Okay, I'll reserve my other questions later, Ma'am Rose. We will entertain 11 more.
Yes, sir. This is very important. I think other questions were already answered, just like the question of Sir Solade about the question of pirated books. But I would like to give this to you, Dr. Pilapil. This is coming from Dr. Hemres Alburo of Argao. Other than the use of Odilo, do we have Plan B learning modality? Because September is already too close and we are still grasping to learn how to use it. Aside from the fact that not everybody has made IMs for the course he or she is handling. This is for Dr. Pilapil. Do we have Plan B, sir? That's a question of Dr. Alburo.
Um, I cannot answer it directly, but I have to ask Sir Kamasura. Sir Kamasura, a moment. Sir Kamasura, please acknowledge na. Or
Yes,
anybody. Yeah,
Sir
yeah, yeah,
Pilapil.
yeah. What
Yes,
is
we
the
have.
assurance? What is the assurance of that Odilo to be fully operational by September?
I am not part of Odelo. I think Sir Lloyd would answer that part of the
Yeah,
contract.
yeah, because I will have my plan B once I have the
Within the
answer.
timeline, sir. Yeah. Within the time. Now that we are having this uh, enrichment seminar for designing and course pack, I would assure the CTU family that platform would be ready by
Yes.
September 1. But with the percentage of the faculty that are really adjusted to how to use it, I would still go back to the survey 2017 that I could assure you 68% of the 1.5 because they are not digital immigrants. The remaining 32, I am still doubt with it. I hope Odili could come up with a performance tracking as to the active participation of the 3-day functional training with that one. But with the question of is there plan B to this, when we try to look at the memorandum issued with the CTU FLS implementation, sir, with your office, our plan B is still with the blended learning, kato siyang offline version or asynchronous, ikaw mo facilitate other options that you have existing, Google Classroom and
Kana,
other
kana
existing
mo na to.
modality. But it doesn't mean that you are exempted to be part of the Odelo. Odelo setup is the primary platform where faculty and students as well as administration coordinates during the whole during the whole duration of the first semester 2020-2021. So it's not, there's no exemption to it, but other options are allowed until such time all issues, all hindrances that might encounter prior to September 1 are addressed. We still have to get the option 1, which is Odelo platform.
Okay.
Sir Johannes, can I interject, sir?
May I reiterate? May I also say something pa sa Sir Gilbert, because that's addressed to me, no? That but I said I want to ascertain first kung kanus agad atong ano, if we are certain, so okay na, but then even if we are certain, possibly ba? No, possibly no nga along the way mo dili, because first implementation palagi sa Odilo, others who are not that very techy kaning pareha namo nga kuan pa ka ng illiterate pa kaayo ani, so posible nga mag along the way mo falter me, no? Kanang das Odilo or the connectivity kit, akong pangutana, kani with the connectivity kit that we have, pwede ba na siya mo gamit og lain nga mga modalities nga wala sa Udilo pa? Like what we did before sa bitong March 16 up to May 24, di ba, naaman tayo mga alternative learning activities. Simbako, di gid pa mo function fully si Udilo. Maybe ang katong group of faculty nga teki na kaayo parang Sir Binuliraw and the rest nga mga kuan kayo na anad na ni kana na ang successful sila sa Udilo. But sometimes in my case, for example, mo filter ko sa Udilo, pwede ba ko mo gamit sa connectivity kit but then using katong mga Google Drive, Google Meet, Google Classroom, Zoom na lang, magamit ba siya? Dili. I'm referring to the kit, Sir Kamasura. Makagamit ba ko sa connectivity kit na mag-Zoom lang usa ko because for example, I have my own Zoom account, pananglit lang, or maybe mag-Google Classroom ko or Google Meet ko, pwede ba?
Sir Pilapil, yes, but I don't want it nga ma-open-ended ang atong option, sir. So it should be properly coordinated with your office. We will accept the possibility that might be we fail to our promise nga di na siya mudagan, but it should not be in a personal basis. It should be a proper memorandum that we are accepting alternative mode for the consideration of the COA and the honorarium purposes, that we are really unified into such implementation. Because with your connectivity kit, because faculty are free of data load using that faculty, whether it's Globe or PLDT, but the reality now that I am talking with you, still wala pa ang PLDT, naglawig pa. For those that are selecting smart telecom network, Globe is already delivered 100% of the requirement. Yes, sir, with the connectivity kit, even your intuitiveness of teaching, even Facebook group, ang Facebook, libre na sa kada adlaw sa connectivity kit. You can go to Facebook room, maka-video call ka dito, maka-screenshot ka sa imong papel diha nga conventional nga outline sa imong subject. Pwede ka ka-share sa imong video nga imong gipanggamit for through the years. Alternative mode of learning is really no question about it.
So being very flexible, no? If LS gets siya in a way.
We are very flexible. We are not forcing you to be savvy on this immediately. I know there is a level of deference on how we accept technology, and I do realize that for the consideration of the 32% of 1.5, I already conceptualized this proposal part of those interventions and issues. So, ang ato lang good, sir, we need to maximize the direction of the university that we are really shifting to an online platform.
Okay.
So, by September 1, we diligently follow the issuance of that memorandum that the first mode of collaboration when we talk about teaching by September 1 for CTU as a university is the Odilo platform, which is the universal link of FLS.ctu.edu.ph. We are working round the clock to really go with that promise. Para just bear with us. I know some are excited, some are doubtful, some are worried with mixed emotion, but we still have a way number of days. Ay kablaka, anadaming di matog ni Sir Pilapil ug alas 2.
So thank you for that question, Dr. Alburo. Okay, we will put that in our account.
I hope si Cloyd mo hatag sa manifestation. I hope ako sang pa si candid na siya si Cloyd, because whatever promise I do, if wala may collaboration and alignment of project timeline, just a word from the Odilo that they would take the promise as agreed. Sir Cloyd?
Yes, sir. I seconded. Actually, sir, as you can see naman from Odilo's side, even though we don't receive any notice to proceed, we still commit as we agreed. You can see our
commitment level sa Odilo, sir. I hope everybody noticed that. Kaya ito nang bukbukon si Cloyd, huwag na mamit.
No worries, sir. We have a 30 days CD about this project.
Thank you for that manifestation. Yes, Ma'am Rose, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Sir
Hi, Ma'am Rose.
Kamasura. Shall I move on to the next question, sir? This is from anonymous attendee, but very relevant to this training. Hello, good morning. Thanks for your hard work and the App Odilo team. My question is this. As Sir Cloyd mentioned earlier, the CTU FLS app is basically finished and already working and is only currently waiting to be published on the App Store for training purposes and for us, the faculty, to be able to explore it ahead of time. Wouldn't it be easier for us to install it as an APK file for the meantime? Thank you. Sir Juanes, I think, and Sir
Okay, yeah,
Kunanan.
okay, una. Yes, as much as eager for all of us to use it, if you could recall the presentation I made using my mobile app, the whole content requirements and UR are the same. So if you we still have to abide with the company policy with Odelo that they could not share anything not unless there is a proper approval to their authorities. That is why they could not give us the APK. That same question has been asked to Cloyd last night because I am a bit worried I'll be the one presenting without the FLS. But they assure us that what I presented a while ago, the whole content and UI are still the same. It is just a dedicated app created for us. But the whole content and the user experience is the same. So in relation to that question, I would suggest that they would download the generic Odelo app that I demonstrated a while ago using the same credential. The country is ES. The library is Odelo English. Kung sa to'y sumpay. Then try to explore all these things because the whole content as the whole user experience are still the same, less the actual content of books and the learning platform, the learning template based on our unified syllabus. That's how we understand it with the company perspective of Modelo. Can you add it more, Sir Cloyd?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Actually, so far in relation to that, sir, actually we just have an approval from the. I think, Sir Director Kamasura knows about it. When you have a certain apps developed, you need an approval from those provider from Android and iOS. And then once you already approve the published APK for that, it needs to be kasi kung i-live natin yon, still skeleton pa rin siya. There's nothing inside. So so we need to we just get an approval from them last 2 days ago, and then iOS still processing. So once it's done po, automatically within this week we will be announced it automatically with Sir Director Kamasura for approval, because from CTU side they need also check and validate if the apps, the logo is correct and the welcome page or the welcome words are correct. So we need also to have validated from CTU as well once we upon having it live.
Thank you, Sir Kunanan and Sir Johannes. I would like to move on to the next question. I am teaching GSC STS, and I would like to ask if the reference book I am using, which is Science, Technology, and Society by Patricia Serafica, can be included in the list of books in the digital library. So I think the concern is, can Ma'am Portia Bacosmo, this is the question coming from Ma'am Portia Bacosmo. I think what she's trying to say is, can she request the book to be included in the library? Sir Kunanan.
Yes po, that could be possible po. As per agreed by with the MIS, by the Office of Dr. Kamasura, we would like to ask all the materials or content that is needed in your course pack, those content as much as possible. If it is available in Odilo, will be automatically upload those materials into the digital platform po. And then you kindly just coordinate po sa inyong MIS head, and then MIS head will coordinate with the office of Dr. Kamasura, and then from the office of Dr. Kamasura, they will communicate directly to us.
May I
Yes, Sir
come in?
Kunanan.
May I
Yes,
come
sir.
in?
Yes, sir. You are recognized, Sir Pilate.
Oo. Siguro, Sir Cloyd,
Yes, sir.
the VP office through the curriculum director Ma'am Haka would know kay lain-lain no niya na usa ka faculty lain adto ginaibutang dito sa unified. So we have our
Yes, sir.
we have our cluster coordinator for the unified. Usa to nga question science, technology and society. Mao ba to? So if
Yes,
it's an
sir.
if it's an STS, adto na dito ni Dr. Camelio. So it's Dr. Camelio's recommendation that we acknowledge, not a concern, not a certain faculty kay magsabot man na aman tayo gi-assign to do STS, adto na dito ibutang. So whoever is in charge, adto dito niya si Dr. Camelio will coordinate with the curriculum with my office and we will forward the same to Sir Kamasura. Not to the MIS coordinator siguro, but to us, and then we will be the one to forward it to Sir Kamasura to make it official. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Sir Claude. Thank you. I think there is a problem here. One anonymous attendee says, I can't access the app. What library should I use? I logged in using the username and password that I use in the desktop, but in the app it says wrong credentials. Sir Cloyd and Sir Kamasura, I think this is your concern. Wrong credentials daw, sir.
Can everyone see my screen po?
Yes, Sir Cloyd.
So basically, this is for the Android and iOS app. For those people who have created already the username and password during the last webinar that we have already, this is the APK, okay? And for the Android, just go directly Odilo app, okay? And then select ES for the country. And then for the library, Odilo School English, and then just key in your own username and password that you have created previously. Yan po. And for the iOS, just go directly to the App Store and then select Odilo School English, the username and password that you have created previously already, and then you can already install. You can already log in. So this is the step for Android and iOS. Okay? For Android and iOS is different login page. Okay? Different po yung credential na hinihingi. For the Android, select country ES po. Espanya. Since this is a demo site. Okay? For the select library, Odilo School English. Kindly look for this one. Odilo School English. Odilo School English po. And then for the username, okay, the password, the same credential that you have created previously. But kung wala pa po kayong username and password previously, so hindi po kayo makapag-login. Okay? You need to create po your own username and password via web. Kung wala pa po kayong username and password, just kindly send your name into the chat box. Just comment na wala pa kayo and then Francis will assess you po. Thank you.
Sir, pwede ko mo come-in. Mangutana lang ko, Ma'am Rose, no? Interjection lang. Kanang insert your user and password, username. Sorry for my ignorance. Mauni siya ang Gmail account, dili. User.
Hindi sir, yan yung ano sir, ginawa na, opo, yan yung ginawa namin last webinar po.
Atong G Suite. G Suite, mauni?
Hindi din sir, yan yung ginawa po nila sir na username and password during the last 2 weeks webinar namin.
Okay. So maybe katong wala pa maka-train karon nga week o next week mao siguro tong nangutahan na pa, no? But then good that we have this kay na ako ganina nabasa sa chat box ba regarding the request ba nga kung pwede we could have a manual of operation or how to do kani ani ba on a soft copy aron mahatag nato sa mga cluster heads, no, cluster in charge or even campus directors, dean of instruction and the different department chairpersons para sila na mo share sa ilahang faculty about this para naagitay guide ang ila ba naadto sila guide nga download select ana. So is it okay ba pananglit if we can come up with parang operations manual, if I may call it, or operations direct instructions for operation regarding this, so that everybody will be guided. Possible.
Yes, yes, Sir Edwin, I have disseminated already the link.
Yeah, but then, pwede ba nga maayo ko sa office para sa nako ma-communicate tanan, para wa gyud rason we'll have to put this in a memorandum, para wa rason nga wa sila kadawat. I will be giving this to the campus directors, to the campus deans of instruction, and the the deans of the main of the deans of colleges of the main campus, para naana gyud ba mahatag gyud nila to maka-cascade sila down to each and every faculty, regular or part-time.
Yes,
Or
sir,
hindi
noted.
ko hatagan. Okay, thank you.
Send mo, sir.
Thank you, Sir Edwin. Thank you, Sir Cloyd and Sir Kamasura. My next question is coming from Mildred Martinez, and this question is similar to the question of anonymous attendee and that of Ma'am Milani Himang's question. The question is, Sir, good morning. Who will orient the students with the Odilo student user interface? Is it us, the teachers? If so, is it okay to eventually ask for a video tutorial to help us? Thank you. Sir Kunanan and Sir Kamasura.
For the training po, we will be the one to handle for the teachers and students as well. And for those video tutorials po, it's part of our deliverables to CTU. We already have it done po. So latest by September 1st week, the manuals and the video will be prepared po. And it will be posted as well into the digital platform. So doon po titingnan ni mga estudyante at ni professors those manuals and videos well. Kami pa.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am Sarmi, do we still have...
Mukamin sa ko,
Yes, sir.
alihog.
Yes, sir.
Regarding this, kay wa ko na-alerted ko aning students training. What about the schedule? Kay daghan ba kita estudyante, how are we going to schedule that? We'll have a separate meeting for that, no? Siguro Sir Cloyd and Odilo
yes
and
po.
Sir Kamasura and the other CTU champions, no? That we will have to schedule kay mag-simultaneous na ba ni og opening ang klase. Unsaon na to pag-train ang estudyante, how are we going to like capacity kay ang ato ra ba, for example karon 1,000 nagdugay ta nakasud ta na 1,000, and how many students do we have? 16,000, 20,000. So how are we going to go about it? Then we'll have a separate meeting for that. Thank you.
Sige pa. Noted, sir.
Thank you, Sir Edwin. Ma'am Sar, do we still have time for the open forum? How many minutes
Yes,
is it?
Our schedule for open forum is until 12 noon, 11:31 to 12.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Sarm. So I will have to...
We're supposed to listen to the message of the president, but I understand maybe the president is in Argao campus right now for the installation of the new campus director of Argao, if I'm not mistaken. So siguro, if the president comes in, then maybe we can have, but then our schedule will be altered in the afternoon. So maybe how many minutes do we still have, Ma'am Zarm? If Sir Binolirao can present now, then better, so that it will be clarified and will give more clarification as to the online platform is concerned. I suggest that
We still have 1 hour, sir.
How many minutes? 1
We
hour?
still have 1 hour, sir.
Sige, would it be
Yes,
okay
sir.
that we are
So
going
posted,
to stop muna the Q&A, and then we'll listen to Sir Binolirao, and if we still have time, we'll continue the Q&A. Making use
Okay,
of our
sir.
time lang. So that in the afternoon, if the president comes in, na siya 30 minutes. Because afternoon is only 30 minutes.
Sir, no problem, sir.
Sige,
sir,
that's my
may I say
suggestion.
something?
Sige, salamat.
Sir, may I say something?
Yes, Ma'am Rose.
There are a lot of questions ending up in the Q&A. I would like to request, if possible, if we cannot answer this.
Ma'am Rose, sorry. Hinay ka, Ma'am Rose. Ma'am Rose, your video.
Okay.
Or rather audio.
Sir, yes, sir. If we cannot cater to all these questions orally today, then we might as well answer them na lang siguro through the chat box. Kay maansiran raman siya, sir. kita na atay questions nga dili matubag nga importante sad.
Yes, yes. Hatagi lang ko ha, kay di kay ko ka-follow sa chat box.
Sir. Ma'am Sar,
Because I'm
would
not
like
the one
to turn over.
operating.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Roslyn. But you'll be coming back to stay put. You'll be coming back after, if we still have time. So at this moment, so we will have Sir Engelbert Benrirao. Sir. Sir Engelbert.
Sir Cloyd, asa si Dr. Binolirao?
Sir Pilapil.
Yes, Sir Johannes.
Unsa to sir?
Sir Bert?
Nawa si Sir Bert.
Mura sir.
Ma'am Tomol, ako lang sa i-move, no? Maybe Miss Ma'am Tomol around, or she is still with the installation? So maybe Argao presenters, Ma'am Tomol, Sir Quintanar, and who else? Sir Kabiko will be joining perhaps, or they are already with us. So we'll be presenting in the afternoon. And if the president is coming, then we have to listen to Sir in the afternoon. So in meantime, let's have Sir Binolirao. Basig i-unmute Sir Binolirao.
Dok
sir.
Edwin, nana si Sir Engelbert.
Ni kuan pa ko sa may tamig sudan.
Okay.
Wala magud diring kuan commander. Nag-webinar, nagkuan po meeting. Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Unsa man sir?
Instead of you presenting your topic in the afternoon, let's make use of the time because we still have an hour. So I'll give you 40 minutes to do your presentation to give us light and insight, no, about this real thing of an online flexible learning, rather online LMS. And then if the 20 minutes will be intended for open forum. So Ma'am Rose will have it again. Thank you.
Abi na karon pa kong hapon sir, alas 2 pa biya akong time.
Ako lang i-maximize sir kay si President ba anytime in the afternoon will be coming, and then mo patabi pa siya na tay oras alas 6 santa. So ako lang giusab ang oras gibaylo na ako. Let us be flexible too.
Sige sir. Okay ra sir. Sa ako pang i-open akong kuan materials. For a while sir. Wala na ko gi-open daan kay ito kuan this afternoon pa ko. Sorry. Okay. So daghan pa man gyud nangayo og kuan sir kanang access ba sa materials like katong mga PowerPoint ni Sir Cloyd o ang video tutorials. Ako pang i-approve. Thank you. So good morning, good afternoon, good morning everyone. Since I'm part of the technical working group of this FLS LMS with our Director of Innovation, Computing, Automation, Director Kamasura, I was asked by Sir Edwin to present a sample course pack for this LMS, and since we have been trained for last week for 2 batch, no, and as a part of the TWG, I facilitated the training so that we can be able to have to learn the features of Udelo. Although for training purposes, as I have said, no, we cannot access the digital library as of now. No, I would like to share the screen of Odelo nga wala pa gid taon na kuan. I hope Sir Cloyd. Sorry. Okay, so mao ni siya ang URL no of the CTU Digital Library where we are going to log in. So ang atong credentials wala pa kay katong sa library.odilo.us wala pa may issue sa data privacy. So mao ni siya, wala pa gid na app. Na-app na siya ang URL but ang domain but ang sa Odilo nga side where narito tong credentials wala pa. Okay, so to present my sample course pack, I have used references from the digital library which are not yet the CTU digital library. So I make use of the existing library that we have for the purpose of demonstration. So I would like to open my syllabus in conformance with the unified syllabus which has been disseminated through a memorandum by the Vice President for Academic Affairs, the template made by Dr. Haka, and also unfortunately I was not able to because I was not part of the committee on syllabi unified syllabi making, so I just make use of the template that we have with Dr. Haka. So I'm going to share my syllabi. This is the syllabus. So a sample format of my syllabus assigned to me the subject for computer technology, which is CT213, computer network and security for the new curriculum. So I'm using now the template, the INS Form 1, Revision 3, last August 1, 2020 format. So as again, we have here the parts of the unified syllabi. Okay, we have the program outcomes. We have the course description, and of course, before in my old syllabi, I use what we have learned from the USGR experts. They call it course intended learning outcome. And now with Dr. Haka, we have the CILO or CLO, course learning outcome. So akong gi-edit, these are my course learning outcome. Although this is not yet perfect, no? Actually, wala may perfect na to. So subject for modifications and criticism as to some of the faculty teaching the same subject. So we have here, I think I conform with the SANI standards, no, by sa author sa OBE. We also anchor our course learning outcomes based on the CDIO framework. Although CDIO is the it goes around with OBE. So nasa sulod ang OBE sa CDIO. So we conform, no. So not more than not more than 5 course learning outcomes. So naka-comply ko kay not more than 5, igo gid na 5, no. Actually that is actually 4 na siya. I think 3 ra gani pero gidungagan nako based on the kanang sa principles of education, no. We should have to consider the kaning psychomotor and the affective domain, no. So gibutangan nako dili ang last nga manifest effectiveness. Okay, so that mana siya ma-appreciate sa nila ang ilang course pack. So again, number 1, after the SILO we have the ILO. So before we call it SILO, no, specific intended learning outcome. So karon kuha na siya, no, giusab na siya, it's ILO na siya. So intended learning outcome. Again, we have the first part of our delivery of instruction. Now that since technology subjects composed of lab. Yes.
But Zoom gamay lang, gamay lang.
Yes.
Kayo maklaro.
Ana, for a while lang.
Kana.
Okay na.
Scroll lang gagmay kay di maklaro. Thank you.
Yes. Okay na kung audio, Sir Jo. Okay, thank you, Sir Jo.
Okay ra.
Yes, sir. Kay gagamit ko kuan USB mic niya, layo ra ba?
Loud and clear kay ka, sir.
Okay kayo, microphone sa DJ.
with condenser nga mic ba para magka-concert ta bitaw joke. So kanang we have here the first part, no, I allocate 1 hour, no, because also I make use of the allocation by week since we have na may nag-raise of hands, so yan na lang ng question up. So I would like also to suggest that since we have this LMS and we consider the asynchronous and synchronous modality, when we talk of asynchronous, the students, our learners who will interact with our LMS can access our course pack anytime, anywhere. So probably we cannot specify an hour, siguro by hours, no? We can have by week. So we can give them more ample time to interact with our course pack that we have uploaded in our LMS. So the first part is the VMGO, and this is second year students. I suppose no need for repeating the VMGO. So in fact, I make use of the LMS, and I have to part of my TLA is giving them the course ID. So we have here the course ID, then of course there will be a teacher-student agreement and group discussion using webinar. No? So we have to put up the webinar in our which I'm going to demonstrate later on. Then I have this first course learning outcome. So since it is necessary that we have to use the higher order thinking skills in our objective, now we have to make use of the higher. So higher order, I have to use analyze, because if we talk about analyze, you can be able to understand, identify, describe, or whatever. No? So this is the first course learning outcome, basic concepts, theories, benefits, technical terms, functions, so on and so forth. No? So of my first topic, the first topic or the content, if you are going to look at here, so there are around 8 columns of this course content for our syllabi. So we have the specific ILOs, no? Here in the first course learning outcome, I have 3 ILOs. So here, my assessment are the following. No, we have online quiz, computer-assisted exam. I put here computer-assisted exam or online exam because when the face-to-face will be allowed, no, I can have my computer-assisted exam where students will answer the quiz in the computer and physically. So I have to make use the LMS for online, since our objective here is our course pack should be more on the online, considering that there will be no face-to-face yet. Okay, so diri ko nag-struggle, no, sa gi-assign ni Sir Edwin because I really for blended, no, shop subjects and even engineering subjects having practical side of our assessment, and even in CDIO, we have to consider the practical side of the students. There should be manipulation. So as of the moment that we don't allow face-to-face, we have to we have to convert our practical side into the online part, no, of our course pack. So here, if you have noticed the links, no, so I have course materials in my Google Drive, which I'm going to show you later on, no? And of course YouTube YouTube links, no, since we are online, and of course I make use of the open educational resources, and I find very effective or very useful open online resources. This has been present since 2009, the Khan Academy. No, in fact, I was surprised that the AFTA was using Khan Academy in their delivery. No, so this is what I use. No, of course, I put here the Odilo digital library because wala pa ko'y, I don't have the book yet because the digital library for CTU is not yet up. No, wala pa. So assuming that we have, so mao na nga ako lang sang gigamit sample. So we have here the content. Of course, I allotted a week, no, on week 1, so 20 hours. So ang 20 hours mo go dili kayo na siya. Ingon nga 20 hours good, it can be more than, no. So kay kuan man siya. Students will learn at their own pace. Okay. So second is we have here activity. So mo na ni siya. Supposed to be this can be done in the face-to-face side. If the face-to-face will be allowed, no. So the students, 50% of your students will be coming to your laboratory, to your shop, and you can have this printout and even a soft copy of this for them to work on, perform the activities in their lab. But if not, no, they have to make use of that at home. So provide them the necessary links, no, and of course your assessment and topic and learning materials. Okay, so again, it's very important that we have to use video conferencing to have a synchronous modality where we are going to meet our students. It can be Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, no, WebEx, whatever. But since as part of the TWG and the proponent, Director Kamasura, we intend really to use the Zoom, no, because of these features compared to the other video conferencing tools. Okay, so those are so here the example, if you have the course learning outcomes, no, after prelim, I have the second learning outcome. So therefore, this one should be supposed to be face-to-face. There should be manipulation, actual performance, face-to-face, but I have to make use of I have to convert to the online where they can work at home, no? So they can make that at home. That's why here, I'm going to scroll to finish, no? So kita ninyo, puro na links na tanan kay. That's the online modality. Here, if we're going to look at the requirements, no, I put there every student must have PCs or laptop, router switch, UTP cables, and so on. All other tools and equipment necessary for this course should be required, no. So kay nag-Comtech man ka, nag-Infotech man ka, this is one of the major subject, you should have this required equipment for you, no, or else dili ka na ay na lang pag take up ani nga course. So requirement gini siya. Okay, so it is in our part on how we require students. So and then we have the handouts, final project, all different formats, no, and the soft copy because no face-to-face. But once a face-to-face will come in, the better, because part of our objective is really to develop the competencies on the manipulation, the skills, no. Lahi ra ginang nga video ra, ang imong sense nga nagamit is only your visual. So wala ang imong tactile. In educational technology, you have to consider one of the senses, tactile, the sense of touch. Ang touch na to, mouse naman pirmi. So, ano siya. Okay, so I have to stop this share and I will go to my course pack. Okay, so where's my course pack? So, okay, so this is my course pack. Actually, I was using before Google Chrome, no. Now I'm using masindot ang Microsoft Edge. So I'm using the browser Microsoft Edge, no. So again, we have actually the user ID in the platform, in the URL library teach.odilo.us, and all of you, the first 2 batches have already the user ID. So for the information of everyone, I'm not really familiar of Odilo before, no. Kaya akong gusto nga igamit is Google Classroom, Schoology, and Moodle. And I even use Facebook, no, as social learning group. You can make use of Facebook as an LMS, no? Pero namanggo yung mga kuan siya, limitations. So good that we have this Odilo. So this is you're familiar, no, some of the who have been trained, no. I've created my course pack here. So if you are the faculty, you can create now your club, no? Gitawag pa ni nila og club karon, but in the new ones live na ang CTU LMS, dili na club diya, class na siya kay ang club na mo sa club sa ila din na sa Europe ko, no? But sa club na to dire lahi mag-meaning night club man, no? So lahi paminawon, so we use of class, no? So we have here ang ipakita ganiha may course ID, you can copy that one then imo nang i-send, no? So there was an explanation a while ago that we can make use in Sir Jukam nga pwede ba nga atong connectivity kit nga makagamit ta sa atong Facebook. Yes, we can, no? We can create, in fact I created also here a link, no, to my Facebook learning group. So sa gawas nga nagagamit ko Godilo, nagamit po ko sa Facebook para dito ko maka-communicate nila for group chat, no. Dito ang ako mga information so that they will direct to my course pack in Godilo. So mo ni akong ipamutang tanan, no, all the course learning outcome and embed videos, no, para lang mapan sila maganahan ba. Then of course my references, I have here the Khan Academy, no, where you can register. That is an open educational resources, so you can log in or you can sign up as teacher. You can also sign up as a student so that maka-test ka sa imong interactions, no. And of course I use my social learning group, the Facebook. So kung ako ning i-click siya, no, it will direct to my Facebook learning group. So mo na akong Facebook learning, social learning group, no. Dito ko ma-communicate nila, then upload ang mga kuan. So log in sa ka. Okay? So ari sa ta sa Odilo. Then of course, the most important thing where you're going to put your course pack based on the syllabus is here in your timeline, no. So diri makita ang estudyante, later on I will demonstrate nga student pud ko, no. I created a dummy account for as a student. So na diri ang timeline tanan where we start with our club, no, begins, no. So our class begins here, and since I make use of the academic Odilo, so katong library nila nga di pa na to makita kay wala pa na app, no. So ako nang gi-access daan, sign up ko. I make use of some of the textbooks here, which also let's say form part of this demonstration. But there are a lot of books later on. I also suggested some. So makita nimo ang iyang timeline nga imong gihimo, no, where you are going to put this timeline. You have to put this in your title. So you have katong na-train na, no, you're going to make you're going to search for the textbook that you want in the digital library, then put or make a timeline of that, no, based on the textbook. So kung imo nang tan-awon ang imong title, so you're going to edit the title. The title is considered as topic nato, no. So akong butang dito, introducing the internet, the basic networking architecture, no. So I call it open quote unquote the internet, no, as the introductory part. So butangan ako dire og time frame when siya up to what date. So week 1, no, ako lang gi-extend up to 25 para taas sila time to access the module. Okay, so every part of every topic, or we call it title, naka dito yung mga gi-add ng mga tasks. So you can add here, no, title, yung tangan nimong mga links, and even video conferencing. So in our case, we use Zoom, no. I will show you later on ba pamantay Zoom nga naka-embed dire. So I make use of the Google. By the way, ang atong Google Suite, no, pasalamat kita ni Sir Director Kamasura because that's unlimited storage. So we can put our resources there by subject. I will show you later on ang paggamit nato sa Google Drive, no, as link para ma-share sa imong mga estudyante. Okay? So na video conferencing diha, no? So makita nimo na video conferencing. So unsa akong video conferencing, we're going to look at Google Meet sa akong gigamit. Kaya wa man ang Zoom. So we have here the links, no? So when you click all these links, no, makita nimo, i-click nimo ana, i-click sa kuan link, immediately it will divert you to the link niya as ang if you are using YouTube. So here, okay. So this is the part of my first class, no, where there goes. Okay. What is internet? Okay.
What is the internet? The internet is like a popular saying, some satellites up there. I picture in my head with like waves of internet going to the phone. Somebody told me a cloud once. The internet is a lot like plumbing, it's always moving. Most people don't have any idea where the internet came from. It doesn't matter. They don't need to. It's sort of like asking where was that ball from the pen or the flush toilet or the zipper. These are all things that we just use every day. We don't even think about the fact that one day somebody invented it. So the internet is just like that. Many, many years ago, in the early 1970s, Frank Harper, Bob Conn, and I began working on the design of what
the best thing here is if you have the video conferencing like this one, you are with your student. For example, you are my students and I am the instructor. You can control. No, maybe if you want to talk within the video presentation, you can pause and talk. Then you can play again. So of course, part of our requirement as faculty, you just not let the students listen to the video at their own. However, pwede na siya, but it's better that there should be accompaniment by the instructor. So if you have this video and you have the Zoom or you have the video conferencing, you can pause and you can talk and you can mute, no? O ikaw mo to kay usually kung imo nang iyan madungog nila sometimes mga elves, obviously elves. Diba mga slangards kayo, no? So mga estudyante na to wa may use ani nga mga kuan, okay lang tong magsigtan og YouTube. So pamilya na sila sa mga istorya pronunciation sa atong sa nasa YouTube. Basically atong makita sa YouTube labi nag mga IT part or Indian nag-demo, no. So wala ka pa kay Pilipino tingali si Sir Jocam mag-demo niya sa YouTube, no, mag-upload. Okay, so that's if you're going to back, no, ayaw nyo i-close ang YouTube nga imong link, imong i-back na siya, automatically it will go back to your LMS, to your course pack, no. So balik ka dito ato ka sa timeline, no. Okay, kining timeline makita ni sa estudyante. Makita po niyang title pero dili siya ka-edit, no. Dili wala niya ang magical 3 buttons nga ma-edit nimo ang imong title. Okay? So ikaw may naghimuan no. Okay, so we have here and again the same kaning link, no, the same date ay part na gyapon akong video conference, no. So live ko sa akong mga estudyante. You are going to click the link again, no. So I'm using the Khan Academy for them further learn on my instruction, no. So it will automatically go to the Khan Academy, which is an open educational resource, no. So depende na sa mong internet hinay na siya kay wa pa koy connectivity kit Sir Jocams, no. I'm using my own internet connection. So here kita nimo, so the one that I have searched as part of my video, it's here already, no. So napo dire ang mga some of the articles and even actually ang Khan Academy is partnered with Google and Microsoft, so legitimate nang ilang mga information dili Wikipedia. So it's here, no. Then the students can navigate if they want to. Napa sila yung mga practice exam where they can answer and you can click. No, they can navigate at their own, no. So everything is there, but what is important here is ikaw ang faculty, ikaw may nagtudloan na, you should be ahead of them, no. Ikaw may magtan-aw na you are going to navigate on the material. If you think it's useful, you can get the link and integrate that to your course pack. Okay, so you can close that one. And in fact, na-added to na sila'y okay, saan mo na? Okay, na-added rin mga practice exam, no? Practice quiz. Okay? So at the end, a unit test, no? Na sila unit test. Na questions, practice questions. So the students, if they learn at their own pace, they can navigate to the material, they can answer questions and they practice naman na. Kaya yung Sir Edwin, no, kung practice gali, wala pa na siya. Di pa na ni mo i-record, kaya practicean pa man nila. So, pwede ka mukuha po diya ang mga items para sa imong quiz later on, which should be recorded in your LMS. Okay? So, i-back na sana nimo and mo divert na siya balik sa imong LMS, no, sa Udilo. Okay. Balik sa. Kaya dagan navigate naman ko dugay-dugay. So balik siya sa library sa Udilo. So balik na punta. go to our timeline. So here, I have said nakay kuan, nakay kanang link sa mga videos, and also in your form part sa imong kuan, sa imong course pack, nakay mga activities. So wala man tay face to face. I make use because part of my references sa is a Cisco networking academy. So we with Sir Jukams and other IT people have attended that one, and they provided us with some of the materials which are useful to us. So I make use of those materials. So niktan-aw nimo dire, okay? Naka-activity, no, using a PDF file. So ini-click nimo diha na ang link sa imong Google Drive. So we are using the G Suite, so imo nang can edit that one, no? Pwede listdan nimo. So katong question ganiya, may listdan ba nato in every time, anytime we want our materials in the course pack? Yes, you can. It's up to you because you are the administrator of that course pack. Okay? So ini-click nimo dito, immediately our students will be directed to the your Google Drive which you shared, no? So maka-download na nila ang PDF nimo, that one. Okay, so this is I recognize the author. This is the Cisco Networking Academy which they provide. So na part gina sa imong reference. Okay, so ilan ang i-perform online sa ilang PC, sa ilang laptop or PC, no? And they will answer because there are questions there that you have to answer. So if they can download, no, nakay Acrobat Reader, pwede na nimo ma-fill and sign, ma-fill up na nimo sa estudyante with ilang answer, and in that case ma-save nila as answer, then they can upload that to your LMS. Okay, so muna siya sa akong ng Google Drive. So when you back again, balik ka sa imong Odilo LMS. Okay, so go back that here. So after activity, mag-quiz na dayon ko. So in my quiz, of course, na dito ang akong gihimo nga quiz, no? Okay. So in the quiz, we're going to navigate na dire ang quiz. So I even use quizzes.com, which is also free quiz, no? Pwede ka magamit og Kahoot, pwede ka magamit og quizzes, no? In fact, gipakita ni sa AFTA, no? So you can make use of this. The only thing is wala na siya na-embed sa tungguan. So that's for games naman. Pwede na practice, no? So in that case, pwede na nimo i-integrate. However, you should have your own exercises, no? So again, I have two part of this. By the way, kung mo-read sila ang mga estudyante, once they open or they are the follower, kita nimo dili pila imong followers sa imong the followers are your students. So kita nimo pila follower, no? I created my dummy follower. So ako na siya si Gudjit Cartalia, okay? So I will later on access a student. So naka-exercises po, no? So na kay mga practice exercise, ako lang yanggaan for the purpose of this demonstration, no? So we have here, if you are going to look at, na dito ang date ug ang time. The good thing here sa Odilo, sa exercises, once you create, although napamigi-add aning mga suggestions based on the terms of reference, also some of the faculty like Dr. Gamaliel and other familiar using some of the LMS, no, like Schoology, Moodle, Google Classroom, no? Na yung mga features sa mga test nila or sa quizzes nila nga wala sa Odilo, kay because as we have discussed before, nag-agad ang Odilo as a platform sa atong requirements. So kita man mo nagtudlo, kita may user ani what we want for this feature nga ma-include siya, we have to suggest, and that's why once nga up na ang CTU LMS, makita na nato atong mga suggestion dito. But we had a meeting last night, no, with Sir Edwin. If ever na with Director Kamasura, if ever nga na ang wala nato na suggest along the way, we have to suggest to our MIS and samo sa TWD para na yung mga patches nga mahimo ang Odilo para ma-modify along the way ang features niya. So okay, so muna siya. You can also have this forum. And kung na kay mga quotes, no, ang quotes are coming from the book, no. So demonstrate naman to ni Sir Cloyd nga kung na kay gusto ipabasa sa mga estudyante diha, pwede nimo na kay mga kanang notifications dito nga kani take note, no, continue taking notes. So once nga makita na nila, mato din sila sa book nga imong gi-highlight dito ang paragraph or terms nga pwede nga ipa-take note nimo nila, no. Aron kay kanang mga bata na to karon, mga generation Z man siya, no, fun lang sila og navigating, no, exploring, but kung imo nang pa kuanon nga i-take note na, no, some of them are kuan murag tapulan ba mo kuan, so i-require nimo para ma-force gid sila nga mo take note. And of course you are going to put that in your assessment later on, that di ba inunay nimo mo estudyante hindi video conferencing, di ba nagbutang ko dito og take note ngadto sa atong reference, so ngano mo nag-study mo nagamay kag kuha inana. So inana lang ang mga. Then I have two parts here. Kani kita nimo wala siya i-cover. Kaya I get this from Odilo Academic, no. Dili man nimo wa pa man siya sa digital library, kaya pa man maapat tong digital library. Ako lang gikuha siya as kuan kanang the reference ang title, no. So ako lang gi-add dito sa akong title. Okay, and you can go to title, no. Pagkuha nimong link, okay, if you have the link, immediately you will be directed to the library niya. Okay, so here imong gibasa, pwede na mo i-return. So in part of the librarian, once na siya sa digital library, you can return that human na ka. Okay, you can add it to the list and you can even share that. So ma-share niya, you can share that to your Facebook. So if you have your Facebook group, pwede nimo ma-share aron sila ma-notify dito, no? And you can even email and you can get the link and put that in your course pack. Yan na, mo na ni siya. Okay, so again, you have there the timeline sa imong buhaton. So it will start here and you have the first activity where the students will be notified with the link. Then they can go to the activity 2 nga PDF file sa imong Google Drive. And you can also have the Google Drive which in your Google Drive PowerPoint, no? So kanang gipangutana gani nga pwede ba ta atong gagaling yung PowerPoint, PDF, our own material mo nang yung si Redwin nga enrichment na nimo. Okay? So you can make use of that, no? And immediately you will be directed to those files, no? So na kay mga PDF diha nga ma-browse nila, okay? You can even download because open man na siya. Then you can also go to your your Google Drive ita sa second part, no, where you can have PowerPoint presentations, no. So nakoy Google Drive dire. Okay, so I have a PowerPoint, di ba? So this is my part of my PowerPoint, no. Okay, so na diha tayo na imong mga information nga imong i-discuss in the video conferencing. And of course, when you make your assessment, at buka-bukuha kayo mo maning gi-discuss nila. Okay? So, that's it, no? Then you go back. And again, you can edit if you want to. So, kung gusto ka, nakibag-o nga PowerPoint, ibutang na po nimo sa imong Google Drive, then i-link na po to siya, kay i-share na po to nimo sa imong estudyante, and all there, no? So, now I will demonstrate to you, if I am a student, no? Wala ni siya ang magical blue buttons. I will log out, then I will log in as a student, no? As a follower of that class. Okay, so when you log in, okay, so I am now a student. So if you are a student, immediately, if you were accepted by your faculty to be enrolled in that class, on that club, no, CTU 213, for example, as a student na nakadiha na ang imong gi-follow nga class, pwede na nimo i-heart, favorites, heart, di ba? So you have there, no, once you click that one as your subject, student ko karon na, immediately the same ang makita nila dito, no, pero wala ang magical blue buttons. Okay, so all the links are there, so students can learn at their own pace, no. Learning anytime, anywhere, that's ubiquitous, no? So you have here the timeline again, no? So ang estudyante guided na sa imong timeline based on your syllabus. So kato akong gipang notify gani ha, no? Sa textbook na didto makita sa ani nga textbook. Introduction to internet, okay? So maka-read sila didto na dito gi-highlight na ko ang mga textbook. Ang mga paragraph of terms. Then you have here the timeline. So every time nga mo click ang estudyante ana, okay, ma-divert din siya dito. They say this is the video presentation. Yan lang ipang-click tanan, go to video conferencing. Of course, dili siya ma-admit sa video conferencing if wala ang host, ang faculty. So maagad kung absent ang faculty kay naglain ng tiyan, wala siya ka-open sa iyang video conferencing, wala yung mahitabo aning video conferencing. Okay, then quiz and so on and so forth. So arita sa exercise, which is the most important. So kita ninyo wala ang exercise, no? Ang club without exercise is yet. Why? Because sa akong gihimo dito as the faculty, na ako'y date nga gibutang ko kanus anak ko nga makita nila. So dili sila ma-advance sa ilang quiz. O sila kay bawon sa imong gawa sa quiz. Okay? So if we're going to convert that, of course, balik ari sa mga coach na diha, no? Tatawag ko, so guided ang estudyante, ang siya akong gipang, take note, no? Continue take noting, and so on and so forth, okay, based on the textbook. Then pwede mo ka mo chat. So ako ni chat ma ko ni sa akong sir nga, ako rin yapon ba? Then, I have, hi Sir Bert, and then you can also chat here. Gusto kami, sir, wag niyo ko ka-take sa exam. Kay, wala ko kabantay sa imong mabawas po ng maestro, ikaw, mabawas ka. Nagdanghag ka kay nganong wala ka magtan-aw sa imong timeline, di ba? So that's it. So mulag out ko akong ikuha ng exercise, no. Akong igo sa date karon kita nila. Okay, so kung wala pa gani na naabot ang date sa imong exam, di gina makita sa estudyante. Okay? And all other features sa quizzes, no, or sa exercises nga suggest sa other faculty, also as with Sir Johannes, no. So it's already part of the new features ana niya. Okay, so balik sa ko kajut lang. So akong gibuhat diri kay muni, it's also additional feature nga mong gi-request, no, akong gi-request personally sa Udilo nga like sa Schoology man god nindot nga iniglag ini mo as faculty, makita na dito ang imong courses, my courses. Here imo pang i-search. Akong gibutang dito nga nanay additional diri nga my courses or my class or my club. Immediately i-click nimo ato ang imong gi-create ng mga class or club, moray makita diha. Kani kay makita man tanan, no? Kay kuan man ni siya sa domain na to. So makita. So i-search na ako akong gibutangan sa ron, dili ko malibog kay daghan man naghimog para subject nako. I-search na ko diha, kita na ako Pero sa timahilan nga ako kay pare-pareha man min to one trader yo. No, di ba? So akong gibutangan easy binuliraw ron kay bawo ko nga ana. Okay? So that's it, no? So go to the exercises. Of course, no, ma-edit na nimo. Let's say this one. I can edit this. So unsa man ni siya? Unsa pizza ron? 17. Alas 2 akong gibutang. Kaya alas 2 pamantak ko ni Sir Edwin pa dimuhon. Nya mao man ni ron nga nahimo man kong alas 11. Okay, so atong himo og alas 11. 11:30 na ba? Lapas na gani, no? So alas 11 media. Okay? Then here lisdan pud nato og alas 11 saka 45. 45 naman, hapit na mo end na ni siya. So buta na to 50 lang, no? Para for the purpose of demonstration. Okay? So kana siya, once you save that one, na kay mga questions dito, na may mga questions, no? So you can expand that one and you can make this is a multiple choice niya, two choice true or false man, no? Example lang, no? So akong ipadugang na ni sir nga na diri drag and drop, matching type nga drag and drop, we fill in the blanks, no? Multiple choice and even open-ended, na naman sila open-ended, okay? So you save that one every time na kay changes sa imong exercise, no? So once nga na-save na to, once you click that one, you activate that one, immediately that will mean siya by activating the exercise, it will be visible to the followers of the club. So yes nimo diha, activate na siya. So we will go to the student part, no? Log out ko. Ato ko sa student. Makita to nako dito kay 11:45 naman. So go back again, no? Okay. Hapit ng time. Pwede po i-remember na ninyo aron di na mo balik pero ako dili kay nanya magamit sa akong laptop lain, no? Okay, so again go to your course pack or your course, no, nga na-enroll ka sa student. Then go to exercise. Ni-click niyo mo sa exercise sa student. Okay? It's already there. So once i-click na sa estudyante, immediately na dito ang imong kani gi-link lang nina ako kay naman diri mga PowerPoint, so pwede sila i-ahead mong tan-aw pero I doubt, no, kung time limited ka kaya ako pa-appeal ng time limit, no, aron dili magkakopyahan, randomize ang items, so wala pa na siya nga feature. So once nga na siya answer ng estudyante, minsan true, false, true, false. So wala siya kahuman, abot ang time, kanalibog siya, taas kayo na, no? Once it's saved, say true, Walang na ako ma-appeal ang 7, example lang. Inig-save ba na niya? Are you sure you want to save the exercise? This operation cannot be undone. So therefore, one attempt na siya. And I requested Odilo that it can also be possible nga i-configure, i-customize sa faculty nga pwede niya 2 attempts, 3 attempts siguro depending sa difficulty sa imong quiz. Di ba? Nya ang mo appear dito, mo register dito sa ilang grade or sa ilang scores is the last nila nga na attempt. Okay? So if you want to have it, yes, immediately notify diha. Okay? O ngay siya, wala. Okay? Imong ginang ansiran. Okay? Sumingon na siya, nahiwala din ang siri. Ansiran ginay tanan. So yeah. Okay? Ngayon siya resolve. In other words, naka-take na ka. Di naka pwede mo take. Okay? So that's part of your requirements. So, immediately makita na dito sa grades sa faculty, no? Okay? So inana lang kanindot, no? And you can even make use of the open educational resources like quizzes, no? Pwede ka mag-Kahoot for games para ma-motivate yung mga estudyante. So ang imong mga question nga practice ito, ibutang nimo sa imong exercises, pwede nimo ibutang dito prior to your major quiz. Inana. Okay, so if you have some questions, I can answer if na ko answer. Kung wala, no? Na si Sir Chloe.
Ay, dagang question, 22 na kabuok.
Okay ra,
Uwak diha kay rapiduhon karon.
At kami plano kami presenter ba kay mura mami ani gilalogod nga pa presenter. University wide man Nagsabot kami nga ikaw man ang mo-present, no? Mo leave me sa meeting kay na puto lang mo.
Go ahead, good.
Okay, stop share na ko. Thank you.
Ma'am Roslyn. Sorry, Ma'am Sam.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Binoli Rao. Okay, so murag daghan ko ng questions. Ma'am Roslyn, ready na ta for our continuation of our open forum? So ang e-learning sa mura siya if be status can be complicated if not learned and observed. Wala po siya engaged nga status if thoroughly studied and relearned. Diba? So let's just go with the flow and be with the new normal. Okay, Ma'am Roslyn, take it away.
Yes, Ma'am Sarm. Thank you, Mr. Edwin. Thank you very much. This is another question from anonymous attendee. Good morning, sir. I do not know, sir, siguro Sir Edwin or Sir Kunanan or Sir Kamasura. Sir, can a faculty utilize online?
Sorry, Rose, putol-putol ka, Rose.
Okay, sir. Okay na? Okay na ko?
Okay.
Kani-kani. This is a question from anonymous attendee. Good morning, sir. Can a faculty utilize other online platforms that they are more familiar with compared to the Odilo, which we are still learning? Or are we obliged to use Odilo? Thank you, sir.
That was already answered by Sir Joe Camps when there was a question of Sir Himris Alburo, actually. But then for purposes of Sir Joe Camps, to bagalang quickly.
Yes, Sir Pilapel, thank you. Again, with our primary collaboration tool starting September 1 in our teaching learning process across all campuses, 21 to be specific, serving 34,000 students with 1,500 teaching force, including part-time. Primarily, we will be using fls.ctu.edu.ph using the platform Odilo. Why we are obliging or requiring all to have that primary collaboration and learning platform because it's part of the proposal duly approved by the board. Second, we will have a training, natay ko na sir, no, research for the effectiveness of such implementation. Third, that we are not, I don't know kung na-mention siya, the student assessment survey, the performance of the students as well as the performance of the faculty is part of the Odilo platform.
Monitoring.
So at the end of the semester, the monitoring, performance monitoring and quality teaching will form part on this module. So the student assessment survey as revised with the team across all campuses will form part as end of semester activity using the Odilo platform. In
May I come
short,
in? May I come in
yes,
in relation to that ba? Please be informed that your head chairperson or your dean can observe classes through this platform. So if you're going to use other platforms, so you might not be considered not holding classes, maybe, but then literally or actually you are holding classes, but you are only using other platforms. So it's recommended that we have to use this primary platform. Sige. Go ahead, Sergio Comes.
yes, sir, that's correct. And also we need to use this platform because at the end of the semester 2021 2020 starting September 1, we will be having a post evaluation if ever we continue post COVID, or we will enhance whatever the functionality of this in order to moving forward of our new normal. So it's up to the management across campuses with regards to CTU if ever what are the post evaluation results out of this implementation starting September 1. Thank you, Sir Edwin.
But really, based on the memorandum, we have to adapt this one because this has already been approved. And again, monitoring is part of it. Student monitoring, if the students are really doing their work, and teacher monitoring on the part of the dean, supervisor, that class observation will be done also here in this platform. So, si teacher instead of rather si dean or si chairperson, instead of literally physically walking around to observe classes, he or she is going to walk around virtually to observe classes.
Yes, Sir Edwin.
Thank,
I think that answers the question. Thank you, Ma'am Roslyn.
thank you, Sir Edwin. Thank you, Sir Joe Comes. There is a question here. This is very relevant also. Good morning, Sir Edwin. Miss Haka used 7 columns in her syllabus, while Sir Binuli Rao used 8 columns. Which one should we use?
Ah, sige. As I've said, we are not touching anything at this point in time, but literally, we have to, officially, we really have to adjust to the circulated template that's signed by the president. Now, we have just released the template being circulated. So we have to follow the template, or else we will be non-compliant to our ISO form. So Sir Benoliro perhaps is going to modify it based,
So it
not
is
perhaps,
it's
but he is going to modify it based on the template.
Dali ra na
so
modify sir
that's
basta na template
Dalira
niya.
na ni Sir. Anyway,
So,
it's just at this point in time, alam mo kalibog sa format because
mm,
presentation na ni siya. Ang akong gi-point ani nga gipa-present na ako si Sir Benoliraw is really on the technical, how to go about this, if this is my plan, if this is my activity. So ano na ko pagso dito sa Odilo or sa atong LMS. Maura na ang point. Even the presentation this afternoon, it might be possible nga wa sila at this point in time perhaps wa pa nila ma-follow. But of course, we have to follow the presentation done by Dr. Haka because that is aligned with our memorandum.
syllabus. In addition, sir, I would like to point out that my course learning outcomes and internet learning outcomes is not based on the CMO kay ang BIT program wala pa na CMO. So ang akong gibasihan na when we make that trainers methodology sa TESDA on computer system servicing, mo na akong gibutang diya sa akong course learning outcomes, but that can be modified, no?
Yeah.
Pwede na nimo
Anyway,
ma-train.
anyway, Sir Benoliraw, naamantay in charge, di ba? Naamantay cluster, no? You
Yes,
have to align it with the plan of the cluster or the group that prepares the unified, di ba, sir? No? Ang
yes,
imo lang for the purpose of presentation now.
for the
You
purpose of
can always realign it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sir Edwin. Thank you, Sir Binuli Rao. Another question is this: is the Odilo platform, or will the Odilo platform be now the basis for the log in, log out attendance of teachers for his or her
Already answered.
class?
already answered because that's monitoring. Sorry to cut you short, but that's already answered a while ago. Thank you.
Okay, sir. This question is from Sir Dexter Cola. Wala po bang restrictions kung ilang MB ang ma-upload sa Odilo?
You will answer it technical, please.
Sir Cloyd,
Wala po, wala po.
ang cloud hosting, Amazon.
Yes, sir. Sir Pilapil, sir.
Yeah.
With regards to the restriction, part of our provisioning, it's a whopping 70 terabytes. That is our limit. Cloyd, can we extend if ever? So it's a big amount of storage, but yes, we could set internally. Anyway, it's open configuration naman, just to limit the maximum storage that we have with the AWS. But for submission purposes, kung video siya, I strongly suggest do not put video on the system. You upload it on YouTube. What would be the submission to your students is their YouTube link when you talk about video. Kung graphics lang, anyway, graphics, we could abide the standard because we are using G Suite. Google accounts with CTU G Suite implementation has an open storage. Wala man na limit ang atong Google. That is why we are now requiring all, both faculty and students, to really activate their CTU email because we really want to avail the full features of the G Suite function as a Google education partner. With regard to storage, as a faculty, literally no limit of storage na kaya nyo. Bisag ang tibok nyo backup sa inyong hard disk karon kung namoy kusog nga internet, you can provide it back up to your Google Drive. That's how we avail Google feature. That is why we keep on reminding you to really use CTU email through G Suite. So walay problema sa backup. Do not just clutter our storage with Odilo of your draft. So really maximize the uploading of content that is really important on the actual unified syllabus content. For other relative storage and file formats, you can store it using your Google Drive in the CTU G Suite just for the maximization.
Yes. Innovation na mo.
Yes, thank you, Ma'am Rose. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. There is another question. Is there a resume exam or feature in Odilo? Just in case the internet connection has stopped, can we create a grade sheet same as college or Google Classroom? And can we set up the grade, say for example, 50%, 30%, or 20%? Thank you, sir.
Ikaw answer, Bert. Rubrics na, Bert.
Si Sir Cloyd, na-brought out na last week nga kuan and part po na sa akong request ni Sir Cloyd, no. Na dito si SB ang output inig sa imong grade sheet kung magbutang kag mga exercises. Automatic ang system og hatag og scores, then kung na kay mga percentage dito, gawa sa imong grades. Si Sir Cloyd in addition.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Sir Cloyd, go ahead. About the grades, the grading.
Rubrics and grade percentage.
Yes.
Katong 60% quizzes mo to.
Okay. Actually, sir, i-reset na to, sir, kasi as per our percentage will be based on the CTU po na sa grading system. So basically, once we launch the official we will talk to Sir Kamasura how to set those parameters. Wala namang problema, sir.
Okay.
Yes, that will form part of the unified syllabus, I think, with Sir Pilapil, because grading system are part of the unified syllabus.
It's there at the last part of the syllabus. For laboratory, may ibang allocation ng percentages, at saka for lecture, iba din. Makikita doon.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So once the syllabi are already there, you can see that there.
But anyway, sir, you can make use of your Excel, no? Pwede naman i-download nimo sa CSB ang results sa mga exercises nimo dito with the scores. Then per student makita nimo dito, i-download nimo, CSB man na siya, ma-export nimo to Excel. Maghimo na ka grade sheet nimo nga using Excel, then magbutang og percentage mo ano yung formula. Sayo na Dili naman problema nang inanang grades. as long as you have the criteria na kay rubrics, na kay sa imong mga objective type of test, na kay mga pilay points dito.
Naman kay TOS, Bert? Table of
Oh, na may TOS,
specification.
yes.
Part of the every semester requirement man na siya.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Next.
Thank you, sir.
Time
Sir,
check,
there is another
12:01 p.m. Go ahead, ma'am.
Sige.
Maybe we
Can we
can
have the last question?
sorry, Ma'am Rose. Katong imong ingon nga
Yes,
other
sir.
questions can be answered later, so or through the chat box. Maybe we can still entertain 2 more questions. We still have to have the evaluation, Sir Cloyd, no? Before we have to take our lunch, or while taking our lunch, we have the evaluation. Thank you.
Sige, sir.
Let's go
Sige,
to
sir.
Ma'am Rose.
Yes, sir. I suggest one last question na siguro, sir, before we take our
Sige,
lunch.
okay.
For Sir Benolirao and Sir Cloyd, and this is for technical actually. Sir, good morning. Greetings, everyone. Naabay feature ang Odilo where students can submit their outputs aside from exercises and quizzes. Thank you.
Yes po. Yes po. Meron po.
Okay.
Maybe
And may I add, sir?
maybe Dr. Binolirao and Sergio Cams can elaborate further. When Sir Cloyd said yes, it is possible.
Yes, sir. That is part of our request, our requirements in terms of reference with Sergio comes on the quiz. In fact, ako as part of the TWG, muna akong gi-require.
Submission, sir. Not
Yes,
quiz. The
submission.
quiz is there. Submission of reports.
I'm referring ang question ani is really user of Schoology, no? Because sa Schoology pwede niya ma-upload in a particular assignment or task or exercise where students can upload their output, and when you open that assignment, immediately nalito ang mga submissions. We have already requested Odilo on that.
Okay.
But you can make use of in the moment na kung wala pa, no, you can make use of innovate lang tapos ito gamit sa atong Google Drive gyapon for the submissions of that. And ipa-email nimo nila ilang outputs. Although kanang nga feature is para na nga easy na jud ayo sa faculty ba ang tanan. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir Edwin, I think there are also common comments here in the question and answer box. They would like to ask for a manual about this particular for this training research.
Yes, ako nang na-send nimo Sir Edwin ang link.
Again, what is that, Ma'am Rose? Sorry, not clear.
Some participants actually are asking for a manual because
Manual.
Yes, sir.
I already raised that last in the previous Q&A. We will do something for that. Okay. And if I may request other questions in the chat box, please, Sir Engelbert and Sir Kamasura, kindly answer them. And then if you need me, just tell me, because I cannot directly answer it right now. Again, as I've said, I'm not that techie. I'm also practicing. Thank you.
Thank you, Thanks, sir. Are we good? Are we going to stop now, Ma'am Sar?
Okay. Thank you, Ma'am. Rose, thank you so much. So no more questions. Okay na ta? Murag ganahan na ta maniud to sa. Wala man magtingog ang tanan. Okay. So we'll have our lunch break for exactly 1 hour. Yeah. Minus 10 minutes. So we'll have 12 to 1 p.m. We'll have our lunch breaks. In the afternoon, we'll have our course pack for the different courses. And our officer for this afternoon will be Dr. Lynette Matias Camelio, the CAS Dean of CTU Maine. So before I close, let's keep in mind that teachers need to integrate technology seamlessly into the curriculum instead of viewing it as an add-on, an afterthought, or an event. So that is according to Jacobs. And furthermore, Malamid stressed that one of the most important areas we can develop as professionals is competence in accessing and sharing knowledge. Good afternoon, everyone. Let's enjoy the day.
Okay, so thank you very much, Sir Lloyd. Maybe you can activate the, if that's the correct term, activate our assessment evaluation form. So while others are going to take their lunch and others might answer it ahead or maybe after taking lunch, so we have enough time to answer those training effectiveness evaluation.
Noted, sir. Sige, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome po.
We'll be back at 1 because we have only 30 minutes each and I already have pre-arranged with attorney regarding the presentation or speech or message of the president in the afternoon.